Hello. Hello. Hello.
Well, Musky Dog with the 25-month tier 1 sub. 25 months of zeebs, my how the time flies. How is the himbo today?
Oh, thank you, Bone Mass Dog, for the 25 months. Jesus, that has been a while. Hang on a second. I need to like sit relatively center. I need to do the thing. I need to do the boop. There we go. I'm like sort of relatively facing forward. Oh no, you're not subbed anymore. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bookie. I think that might have been a gift sub to you that gave it to you, and it looks like it's expired, I'm sorry to say. I don't know who gifted you the... Actually, it should mention when you, like, if you subscribe, I think it mentions, like, oh, Bookie has decided to continue the gifted sub from Whatsamahoozy or something or other. So, hello! So yeah, thank you for the trumpets there, Trumpet Collins. I'm almost done with the, posting in all the different thingamadiggies that it's like, hey, I'm online and I'm streaming right now, because this is actually going to be a stream. This isn't going to be like it was Monday, where I just had like this downward spiral of a terrible time, no good, very bad day. This is going to be a stream. This is going to be a stream where there's video games. It's going to be great. It's going to be a brand new video game. Well, brand new for me. I don't know if it's brand new for everyone else here. So, ding dong, almost there. Just give me a... Oop, almost forgot the...
Becky. Limb smash.
Why are you bonking me?
Bonkers.
What did I do to deserve the bonking? Unfair. Unwarranted. I should cast you out from my...
Hello.
From my sights. Hello. Alright. No, I'm here. Don't you worry. I am here. The himbo is here. Hello, everyone. Hopefully it's working. Hi, welcome. Hope everyone is doing okay. Cookie for the Hawaiian pizza. Here's your cookie.
Sipping time sponsored by Trumpet Collins _gaming.
Alrighty then. Alright, so it looks like Hawaiian pizza is going to be doing a lot of fishing. Cookie for Bookie. Here's your cookie, Bookie.
Becky. Lem smash.
Oh, you're
Bonker.
bunking code. Yeah, bunk code. Nice work on the 99% himbo rating though, Sir Dragon. Nice work there. So yeah, being silly on Monday. Yes, so for those, so I know Trumpet Collins wasn't here for this one. I don't know how many people were here for this one, but actually I'll wait till all the nonsense is done. And you know what? I might actually disable the web browser, not the Discord group. Where is it? I'm gonna disable the You'll get your fighting emotes thingy-madiggy back shortly. But I'd like to have no distractions in the next few minutes, please. No distractions. No intro fighters. No ratings. No fishing. Actually, can I just skip all this fishing? Let's see. There's one. I don't want any more fishing. Is it that? You can get it back when we do the what's-em-Uzis. He said, please, you got it? Thank you, Bookie. I don't need it. There's always a time delay and such like that. So, all right, should be good now. Cool, awesome. So, some of you may have been here for when I streamed on Monday. Some of you may not have, but essentially what ended up happening is I just had very much just a no good, very bad day. Everyone knows of the phrase of there's the straw that breaks the camel's back and what have you, because the fact of the matter is that it's 2024. Everyone is, carrying a mountain on their back of whatever regard and such. Some of us, we do our best on some days, other times, not so much. Monday was kind of that way for me. I got bad news about work from last week that affected a little bit of my mood going into the weekend. As I was going through my weekend, there was just, financial strife. There was just, concerns about my weight, my diet, my lifestyle, all sorts of, stuff. And going into Monday, and dealing with, a full day of work where I felt any sort of, efforts on my part to, make work better wasn't being recognized in the workload we had or by the people outside of our team. So I left work with a chip on my shoulder, and it was I didn't have a proper plan for the streams and such for Mondays, that's my intention. I want to try and leave Mondays relatively loosey-goosey open, so then that way it's whatever games, but it invited me just having an hour-and-a-half long rant about, things I didn't like about myself, things I wasn't enjoying, respectively with the world and what have you. I've not, looked at the VOD, as tempting as it is, to see if there's any bangers. Ah! Aww! Oh, thank you, Trumpet Collins, for the 9 gifted subs. I greatly appreciate that. And we've reached our sub goal, so we're good for the, I'm guaranteed to be paid by Twitch this month. Thank you so much. Thank you for spreading the love. You get, so, Boom Mom gets a sub. Tiki the Wicker, Hawaiian Pizza, nice. Brawn Animations, Ginger, Dark DJ Wolf, Hendrix, Big Bootied Golf GF, Joey J. Rue. Congrats! Jenner. So yeah. Thank you so much, Trumpet Collins. I really appreciate that. You're you're now the #1 gifter for the month, obviously. I wonder if I should see. Yeah, monthly gifter. So it's I wonder if I should do it for all time, because I've only been streaming for I've only streamed for like 3 years and such like that. But anyways, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and congratulations to the 9 lucky viewers that got a gift sub. You don't have to deal with any advertisement that will be popping up once an hour to remove the pre-roll ads for other users, and you get to utilize all these cool little emotes available to you. Look at all these emotes. I hope you'll find some time to pick a favorite if you want. That's available anywhere else around Twitter. No, not Twitter. Twitch. Anywhere else around Twitch. So yeah, sorry to interrupt. Wanted to give love. No. I appreciate it. And yeah, I was kind of like waffling a little bit. But basically, here's what I wanted to say. I'm sorry that... Oops. Thank you so much, Sir Dragon, for the 3 gifted subs. I greatly appreciate it. Congratulations to Onyx Severus, Oxelius, and Sai was here. You don't have to deal with any of the advertisements. You get all the fun emotes that I mentioned earlier. Waffling is such a good term. Yeah, waffling on. It's like something I heard from Top Gear. So yeah, keep subbing. No. I'll get it done. All right. I'll get my apology done. All right. I'm sorry for how I behaved on Monday. It was a stressful time for me, and it was just the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I normally am a lot better with this sort of stuff. I just had a very bad day, and I shouldn't have, like, projected this upon my viewers. It will probably happen again, if I'm going to be real with you, because we all have stressful times. I just hope that, Monday doesn't reflect poorly upon me, and that you stick around for any of the streams I have in future, such as tonight's stream. It's Wednesday. Anyway, yes, it's Wednesday. I have got a game. I have a game to play. I have. Also, check out the fan art in the background. Yeah, nice little thingy-madoogie there. I'm sorry. Bam! Gets crumped on. Thank you, Joey Roo. Hi there, Moors. Welcome to the stream. So, yeah, we're almost at a high train. Yes, you are. I think so. It's like you either need to do another sub or 100 bits. You're welcome to go fishing again, by the by. That's now available to you. I'm pretty sure you can gigantify emotes and what have you. Now, one of the cool thing is I'm pretty sure I can gigantify my own emotes without... Yep, there's no charge on gigantifying my own emotes because it's my own channel. Can it be anyone's emotes? Hang on a sec, can it... Yep, there's no charge since this is my channel. But yeah, you can gigantify emotes. I might need to find a new, whatsamahoozy, a new, I need to find a new overlay that's gonna take advantage of gigantified this message box up there, where all you lovely viewers are. Say hi. Say hi, everyone. Look at, there's Joey, there's Trumpet Collins, there's Bone, there's me, there's Dragon. I need to find out if there's like a message thingy-madoogie for...
Hello!
Aw, thank you so much for the gigantified emote. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Where is my self-care? Actually, sippies. Hang on, sippies. 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 Oh. Did I just spill water on myself? Okay, no, I'm good. I have to be careful because I have like electronics all around me. I've got a microphone in front of my face. I've got a leap motion on my chest, and I got a controller just in front of me. Alrighty then. Now we can move on to... Gosh darn it, why did you steal my shirt? Ooh, good music. Alright, press any button. I press this button. Okay, so we can... No save data to load. We'll go with the normal difficulty. I've received a Gion Bell. Morning Glory Waistband. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental. I also missed out on the thingamadiggy on the second half, so if someone can tell me what that said earlier, I'll be fine. The infamous loan shark. Anyways, I'll be back. It's dinner time. You all behave yourselves, otherwise you'll bonk. Yes, behave yourselves, otherwise one of my moderators will bonk you. You miss Grant cracking open a Pepsi? Tempting. Tempting to put Pepsi Maxes on the, It's very tempting to put Pepsi Maxes on the throne. What if a mod doesn't behave themselves? What mod? What mod? There isn't a mod that misbehaves in my channel. Besides, there's very few mods in my channel anyway, so... Code doesn't misbehave. Code just steals my brain cell, and so if I'm not thinking clearly, code is thinking clearly. But if I'm thinking clearly, then clearly code isn't thinking clearly. So yeah, thank you so much for the Gigantified. I love it. I love the Gigantified emotes. I love it seeing it in the little chat thing. I need to think of a thing to put it into the messages. Maybe I'll ask, like, I should ask, like, streamer peeps, and also, hands, come on. I should ask, like, streamer peeps for it. We will give Robot Zeebs a bath if he's misbehaving. Oh, absolutely not. You do not put the Robot Zeebs in a bath, okay? The Robot Zeebs is perfectly fine the way he is. He has the greatest sense of himboism and bimboism and cutie and da-da-da. Radio Sky Finance. Paying money to actually see... Yes, I think, honestly, that's probably one of the best bits about the Gigantify emote, is that it makes it the biggest the emote could be. So, because I'm pretty sure it makes it slightly... Like, it does it to a level that I feel like makes it appropriate without having to go to, like, a third-party website to see its full size. Is he reading, like, a gossip magazine? Murder spree rocks Kamurocho. Serial killer on the loose. Ooh. Okay. You're gonna answer that, right? It's one of... Oh my god, you idiot! 2010, okay. The cat erase. Oh yeah, they got like little cat eraser nubs on them. It's kind of cool. Who?
Hey, もしもし。
あ、出た。ちょっと、今どこにいるんですか？
ああ、いや、ちょっと出先だけど。
絶対嘘ね。どうせ会社にいるんでしょ。もう、どうして電話に出てくれないんですか？
Also, who is this guy? I don't know him.
ちょっと聞いてます？あれ、電波悪いのかしら。秋山さん？秋山さん、
okay.
聞こえてますか？
はい、ああ、聞いてるってば。ごめんって。で、なんかよ。
よって、何言ってるんですか？用あるに決まってるじゃないですか。
ああ、そうだよね。はい。俺が悪かったって。で、何？
This guy isn't too great at his job, is he? Whatever his job is.
え？今日は、君の誕生日か何か。
違う。いいから壁のカレンダー見てください。
You think his job is sleeping? Maybe.
ああ、集金日。
忘れないでくださいよ。
別に忘れてたわけじゃないよ。
I think he did.
ちょっと出かけるのためらっていたっていうか、なんかさ。
なんなんですか？
今日さ、雨なんだよね。
雨ならもうとっくに止んでますよ。じゃあちゃんと言ってくださいね。私は本来の特選カルビ弁当を買ったら帰りますから。それじゃ。
Oh, is he the... Okay, so he's the loan shark. He's the guy doing the debt collecting, I imagine. So he's doing... It's kind of like how back in, Yakuza 1, I want to say? Or Yakuza 0, we were beating up a debt collector. So now, like, the point of view has changed. Now we're going from beating up the debt collector to being the debt collector. Hang on. Lol. He said, "Oh, I wanted to skip the rain." And what does it do? It rains. Oh, Akiyama. Guess I'll start my rounds in the hotel district. Better get moving. So there's Stardust. Did I seriously, like... That's where New Senna was supposed to be. Why? Oh. You there. Halt. What's crackin', old man? My name is not Old Man. I am Satoru Kamachi, a master of the most esoteric martial arts known to man. Okay. What do you want with me? Simply put, I can sense one's physical ability merely by observing the gait of their walk, and you, my suave friend, appears to be an essentially promising specimen. Hold up. You're not trying to get me to join some kind of kooky dojo, are you? That stuff's not really my style. You need to join anything. Take this. Read memos by selecting the pause menu, going and checking menus. Memos cover a wide variety of topics, all of which will be useful for life in Kamurocho. Any information you glean from these memos will not only grant you knowledge, but worldly experience. Now go forth, and let your brain soak up information like the sponge it is. Sure. Thanks, old man. Yes, let our brain absorb information like the wet, wrinkly gray matter it is. Damn it. Flirting is tougher than I thought. The timing is impossible. I wish there was some way I could know the exact second I should approach someone. No, I shouldn't give up yet. Let's just practice my lines and find the right time to use it. Oh. Well. If it ain't our good friend Akiyama-san. Looks like Sky Finance is flying sky high. You out to collect? Great. Like a loan shark heavy is just what I needed. Hey guys! How's business over at Kamurocho Loans? It's shit. Thanks to you and your company. You're a regular pain in my ass. Got that right. I hear you don't even charge interest on the loans you dish out. You're stealing away our customers. Come on. We both lenders here. Let's all play by the rules and everyone will do fine. Rules. You guys aren't even a legitimate business. What rules do you play by? You don't seem to mind bullying folks into borrowing or plastering up ugly ads all over. My customers find me on their own. If anyone's a pain in the ass here, it's you. So we get a tough guy, do we? I'd watch that big mouth of yours if I were you. Oh, and one more thing. You and me? Don't think we're in the same league. Heck, we're not even playing the same game. Shut your trap, dickweed. Note to self. New insult, dickweed. Like how his name changes after revealing his name? Yeah, it's pretty good. You've been pissing me off a while now. I'm gonna enjoy flattening your ass. Street punks. Here we fucking go. Oh my god, is he just fucking kicking him? Oh, I feel like the punching is working properly. Literally just using nothing but kicks. Oh, wait, hang on. Let me grab you again. There we go. Yeah! Violence! Nomming calamari and chips for dinner. Ooh, that sounds actually quite delicious. Okay, you're gonna be show no mercy. Hi there, Super Meowly. Super Meowly, welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. Oh, you're not a first-timer here. Unless I missed one of your messages earlier. Hi. I don't think it's ever explained why he mainly kicks either, which is funny to me. Like Sanji! He's like Sanji! I bet you he's gonna know how to cook. Out of all the One Piece characters I like, I am a personal fan of Zoro, but Sanji is tied for second with, maybe Captain Kid? I think that's... Oh, but Usopp's good as well. Okay, no. Usopp is number 1. Zoro is number 2. With Sanji tied alongside Kid and Luffy. It's like a 3-way tie. Anywhoosies, welcome. One thing the lone business and a street fight have in common, you gotta know who you're dealing with. Ugh. We'll be back. Tony Chopper is your favorite. Everyone else in the Straw Hat crew is second place. Fair enough. So, Akima's fighting style. Nice, so that's been shared. We've now got soul orbs. Hello. Are someone gonna get rid of UFO? Okay, so they're just talking about video games. Hello, Kamiyama. Hey, you. You really laid it on those guys back there. I can tell you're on the side of justice. Oh, yeah? I appreciate the compliment, but I'm actually kind of in a hurry here. Oh, wait, here, take this. Please, take a look at it when you have the time. A Kamiyama weapon catalog. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, nothing at all, I promise. I just thought you might be interested in my choice wares. They'll be sure to help you out in a pinch, so stop by my shop if you're interested. You know that back alley up in the northeast part of the city? That's where I'm shacked up. It's a bit of a maze back there, so sorry in advance. Anyway, see you later. Hope you stop by soon. Tony. Actually, question for you, Super Meowly, is do you like Tony Chopper's, like, when they did the time skip, like the 2-year time skip, did you think Tony Chopper was better design-wise, or did you have a bit of a with it? Because, like, let's be real, Tony Chopper is stronger after the time skip, absolutely. But, you know, he just needs to use, like, one, like, little ball thingy-majiggy, and he's able to, like, control his monster form amazingly enough. So, obviously, time skip, Tony Chopper is stronger than pre-time skip, but I'm gonna be real, it took me a while to appreciate Frankie's time skip design. You like the hat? Fair enough. Hey, I've got a pretty amazing weapon equipped. Wish I could show you. Glad I found the right one for me. Can be equipped by, yep, equipping an amazing weapon. Yay, cool. Pause. I can now make upgrades. Cool. Can I now equip... Oh, the Gion Bell. Gain money while walking. Equipped with morning for effects while standing still. Slightly increase effect. Ooh, awesome. Okay, so we have 2 accessories and that... God damn it, Sky! Abilities. The White Tiger Spirit. Sure. And then that unlocks... Squat Taunt. Beat down and taunt a downed enemy to greatly... Yep. Boost overall attack when drunk. Yep. That's probably gonna happen. That Akiyama flattened 3 people in the middle of a street, and then a black market deal was like, he seems like a good customer. Well, yeah, obviously. He knows exactly what he's on about. Black market dealers need to know the people that are going to be able to stand for themselves. Hello? That was Kido-chan from Kenamura Enterprises. What's got him in a hurry? I should drop in and see what's up. Debt collection can wait. Lol, we just...
ああ、お疲れっす。って兄貴、びしょ濡れじゃないっすか。
洗えないけ
ああ、頭なら今柴田の組長さんのお供でそこのビルの見学に行ってますが。
Alright, so far it's a
ど。
bit
田
of...
町ヒルズか。
Ooh, okay, so Kamurocho Hills
なんでも
was
親父の
getting
話じゃ
completed.
本格的な建設が始まる前に何としてでも真島組に顔を売らなきゃなんないとかで。
上のご機嫌取りか。そう。
何?
Oh, he didn't even do a good job. What a shitty lighter. Yeah. Fun fact, did you know lighters were invented before matches?
どうしたんすか。そんなにイラついて何かあったんすか。
七福通りにエルナードってキャバあんだろ。
Your favorite is Nico Robin. She was the first adult to join, and it was great seeing an older character deal with trauma. I don't know if she dealt with trauma very well. She was definitely a victim of trauma and what have you, but I don't know if she dealt with it
で
well.
もただ飲んでるだけなんですよね。
Wait, isn't Frankie older than Nico Robin?
バカ。飲んでるってこと自体が問題なんだよ。
どうしてですか。
はあ。上野とうちの本家が親戚だってのはお前も知っ
I'm
てん
pretty
よ
sure
な。
Frankie is older.
はい。
Isn't it like isn't Frankie in like
昔
his
実話系の雑誌で読みました。
30s? And then
でも
meanwhile
実
you've
際
got
に五分の関係ってわけじゃね。
you got
一応親戚であ
what's
る
his
以
name?
上
Soul
登
King.
場界が上野の島に手を出すことはね。
What's his name?
でもそれは上野清和会が毎月寄付って形で登場会に結構な額の上がりを
Oh
し
God, how am I Brooke, thank you.
そうなん
Yeah, you got Brooke, who's like, you know, hundreds of years, like 100 plus years old or
清和会
something.
も俺らと同じ傘下組織の一部ってわけさ。ま、例えて言うなら登場会がアメリカで上野清和会は日本みてえな感じってことだ。
I missed all of his explanation.
すみません。ちょっとよくわかんないです。
だから。まあいい。 どっちにしても俺らみてえな3時の組員が知っててもどうしようもねえ話だからな。
兄貴、
あ、
それでさっきの話なんですけど、上の清和会がうちの上とそういった関係があったとして、それの何が問題なんですか？
は？
だって上野と東上会は親戚なんですよね。だったら東上会系のうちの店で飲んでても別にいいんじゃないですかね。
The problem is they crashed their club.
ここまで話わかんねえのか。だからお前は使えねえんだよ。
よう。
ああ、秋山さん。どうも。
ちょっと間が悪かったみたいだな。出直そうか。
いやいや、大丈夫です。どうぞ。どうぞ。
今日は集金日なんだね。回収がてら金村さんに挨拶していこうと思ったんだけどな。どうやら留守みたいだね。
ええ、今日はちょっと用事があって出かけてまして。
ふん。新井さんもお出かけ中？
あ、はい。頭は柴田組の組長と出かけてます。
なるほどね。
Hi, Sage.
で、さっきの話の続きは？
え？
どうして上野清和会の連中が金村工業の島で飲んじゃダメかって話だよ。こいつらに教えてやんなくていいの？
聞いてたんですか？
あれだけでかい声で喋ってりゃ隣のビルまで聞こえるさ。
すんません、お恥ずかしい限りで。
はい、兄さん。
はい。
あんた新入り？
はい。3ヶ月くらいになります。
じゃあ1年くらい前まで
Oh,
は
that's my mom.
カムロ町界隈で
Hang on a sec. Ooh! Oh my god, look at the size of her tits.
Yeah, why did we not realize that was the first thing you were gonna stare at, not the size of the big fucking sword?
Everyone has a big sword.
I really like the sword.
You shove through your chest.
Shove it
Like-
up your ass.
Look at the
I'm focused on murdering her.
look at the titties.
Grant,
don't
stop
focus
looking
on
at the titty.
But it's so good!
I mean, yes, but I don't focus on the titties as someone who wants to fucking murder the shit out of me.
Alright. Fabupona, hi. This bear that you drew for the pecan bear is absolutely adorable, and I love it. My particular fave is the style of the coat you've chosen and the two-color tone. Like, beautiful, it's wholesome, and I love it. Tell me what he can turn into during the Fourth War in bear form. In bear form! Fourth Age in bear form! You're not telling me he can turn into a bear? It's called bear form!
That's not canon.
What do you mean it's not canon? What do you mean that's not canon? What do you mean that's not canon? Human being. What's the trick, Gold Buick? I've already lost my shirt, and you can't take my pants, so... Do tell me of this so-called trick you have in stock. Also gold.
Also gold.
What the? What? Oh. That says staff. That says staff. I don't, like... Hang on a second. Where's my... Hang on.
Cover up your shame, Grant. Cover up your shame.
1 minute, ding, dong. There we go. Ah! Why did a staff
I, GrantZeebs, love being put in a cute maid outfit and love...
Don't say it. Don't say it, Grant. You know what Bone wrote. You don't need to say it out loud. You don't need to say it. It's up, dog. What's up with you? Tango! Shut up! Do we have car keys?
No, I don't think we do. I'm gonna place the camera.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And
Sharon just being like, hey, 14. 14. 14. Have you heard of the critically acclaimed final... Wait, hang on a second. I got the text. Hang on a second. Let me get the text. Sharon's just like... tapping away and it's like, did you know the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV has a free trial and includes an entirety of a Realm Reborn and the award-winning Heaven's Word up to level 60 with no restrictions on playtime? Sign up and enjoy Eorzea today. I didn't pick Estinian for romance option. I was just guessing who was at the door. I wasn't picking my romance option. None of the Scions are my romance option. I like the Rabbit Girls. I love the Admiral. There are so many better choices. There is no one in the Scions that I'm romanceable with. They're all weak. They're not great. There's no, like... No! No! Ugh.
Diddums.
Ugh.
Diddum. Ugh.
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 Ugh. Stronger than 1, stronger than 10, stronger than 100 men. An outsider? But how? By the gods! Allies of the Empire! My sincerest apologies for failing to note your arrival. Cookie for Sky! Sky, look! Rabbit Girls! Rabbit girls. Hopefully you enjoyed your cookie. It was the warden you wished to know about, yes? My mother, may she rest. This is the most himbo you're going to find me.
That stole your shirt. I'm sorry, I just wanted to oogle zebra titties.
Oogle. Oogle before the zebra titties. Meow. Hang on a second, let me move my keyboard out of the way so I can do like... So I can drag it across the desktop. Watch this nonsense.
Cerveza cristal. Cerveza cristal.
Spin! Spinning. Fucking try me there. Damn it, there's a Keck W in my way. Move, Mega. System. I think everyone was like really close, only because... Rudy, stop it! 250 kilometers in any German vehicle, 20 air skills in any Volkswagen buggy, drag race in a German super saloon, any German vehicle. Why? I'm just so broken.
Yeah, you can't spell nutrition without nut, am I right?
Ow.
Pull the lever.
Oh, Elon, no, you know what Elon Musk would be? Elon Musk would be a protogen. Or what is that species called? Is that the right name? Protogen. Is that the... Yes, protogen. Elon Musk would be a protogen, and he would, you know what? He would have the goal to be like, this is an original species. Elon would most certain 100%. You can clip me on this one, so I have to stand by this. If Elon Musk got a persona, it would be a protogen, and he would make it seem like as if he invented that species. That's what Elon Musk would do. He wouldn't be a snake. He'd be a pro. Do I have it as a command? Hold on. This is like a render of me instead of like actively me. What do I gotta... Okay, so I need to disable this. All right. All right, can chat tell the difference between me... Here we go. Click, 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 click.
Ain't gonna happen.
Alright. So, alright, first thing we gotta do is we gotta subdivide it, and we're gonna... let's go with 4 cuts.
The real you is super ugly.
Wow! What's my username on Twitter? It's GrantZeebs. What's my username on Telegram? GrantZeebs. What's my username on Discord? GrantZeebs. What's my username on Twitch? GrantZeebs. What's my username on YouTube? Well, YouTube is technically using a Google account in order to do that kind of nonsense, and I can't have a direct link to YouTube, but lo and behold, GrantZeebs. Ta-da! Blah. Yeah, this Zeeb just can't do anything correctly, and this is supposed to be like just a first time I actually utilize my VR model before for any further modifications, because if I keep modifying it, I'm just gonna be like, oh, I'll utilize it in the after the next update or the next change I put towards it, and it's like I'd end up not using it, and it just be like some thingy-majiggy, and then I need my AC capture. Properties, AC capture, yep, is not grabbing onto the Twitch thingy-majiggy. No, I'm gonna say Phantom. You. Not to worry. I appreciate the call. I hope you're doing all right. A-okay. And then something broke. Alrighty then. Just as you came in. Oh, thank you for the follow there, Riven. Greatly appreciate it. Alrighty then. Back in. Here we go. It'll take a minute for the what's-a-mahoozy to. In my normal. Let's see. Thursday I don't have plans. Friday I don't have plans. Friday morning is stream. Minus $200, which means that even if I get rid of only 2/3 of my get together, as in like physically get together, 680 times by 0.66. All right. Even if I only get rid of like 2/3 of my beginning of September, I can definitely make plans. There's an additional $450 I can use into other expenses, or alrighty then. Into saving, which means that by the time October comes along, then I would have saved. Alrighty then, will do. Love you. $500 it would have cost me to do that. And bye. I get money from Twitch or from, you know... Yeah, I know you can hear me. We were getting to, like, the end of the conversation, and there wasn't, like, any names or any of that kind of nonsense, so I thought it would just be there. By the by. Call your mom. Talk to them. We love you, too. Thank you, Code. So, yeah, so to shorten the conversation just a little bit, my mom wanted to make sure I got my passport, which I did. And because I already gave that to my grandfather because he needs the passport number, she was like, okay, we'll figure out how to get into the American Airlines thing because she's got like a card or something or other. But you should think about getting travel insurance because that's what me and my boyfriend are doing. And so it's just a fun case of like, you know, why I'm going to the United States. It's not Fiji or some shit. Like, sure, getting an ambulance ride and all that kind of nonsense is going to be expensive as fuck, but like, I can't afford the trip to the United States. What makes you think I'm going to put money into travel insurance where I might, you know, do some what's-a-mahoozy? It's like, what do you think I'm going to do? That I'm going to go to like a hunting like range or something like that and be like, ah, yes, click clock. Oh, it is so great going out and about, and then getting shot in the ass because I wasn't wearing like fluorescent gear. It's like, no, that's not happening. I'm going to Virginia. Nothing happens in Virginia. Like the closest thing that was gonna happen was the fucking January 6th, but you know that's a rarity, and I'm pretty sure we're going during Christmas. So yeah, there was that, and then there came the fun little thing of like, oh, fun fact, before you got the diagnoses of, you know, Asperger's and autism and all that kind of nonsense by the time you lived in Australia, because I asked if, like, do we have, like, you know, doctor thingy-majiggies about the Asperger's and all that kind of nonsense. I didn't get the clarification of, can I please get the documentation that the doctor has said I have Asperger's or any of that kind of nonsense, because turns out, if you do have ADHD kind of nonsense, like, mixed in with the autism, you might be allowed medicinal meth. So, I'm gonna be real with you. What, like, hearing that, where it was just like, oh, you could lose weight and have something for the ADHD. It's just sort of like a, damn, would fucking love that. But I wasn't gonna explain to my mom. That's why I wanted the diagnoses documentation to support me for being able to get like some medicinal drug that is meant to, you know, manage the ADHD, but also help me lose weight. I don't know if it's medicinal meth, but it's essentially just as here's a drug for ADHD. You might lose weight.
そうです。
そうか。
I don't know if it's medicinal meth. I might be incorrect.
秋山さん。親父に用件があるようでしたら、後でこちらから連絡するようにしますけど。
帰るってこと？
いやいや、そういうわけじゃないんですが。
Slander Virginia. I will slander Virginia. I have gone there plenty of times. You know what it's filled with? Old people.
いろいろね。
Virginia is just filled with old people. There's
そうだよね。
very little personality to Virginia besides Virginia's for lovers, and that it's like really close to Washington D.C. That's
これから大
it.
変だぞ。あんたらの業界で下の連中が上の島で飲むなんてことはあってはなんないことなわけ。わかる？それは直系団体でも親戚団体でも同じ。例えば君が今からカムロ町で一杯やろうと思ったらさ、君の親である金村さんのさらに上の親、つまり柴田組の島で偉そうに飲もうなんて思うか？
いや、それは。
そうだろ？そりゃそうだよね。だってそんなことしたら金村の親分さんに恥かかせることになっちゃうかもしれない。それに後で新井さんにどれだけ怒られるか分かったもんじゃない。
Give me your metabolism, Trumpet Collins.
あんたんとこのお店に来てるのは
Give me your metabolism. Chat, give me your metabolism. I very much want the metabolism so I can just stuff my face with ice cream and chocolate chip cookies or eating chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. Your metabolism is gone. You're getting fat. God damn it! Is no one fit in my chat? Is no one just able to just, you know, have whatever the food that actually Benru can probably have whatever they want because they go through all kinds of extra exercise. I need the jacked up what's a mahoozies? Brain. Come on. Volvander. Hopefully I said that correctly. Volvander? Don't start me with Benru. Oh, don't worry. Back on Monday, Benru recommended that I should try and eat more fruit. I'm trying to reduce the amount of things that I'm like eating and what have you, because, you know, 140, I'm now 147 kilos, or is it 146? I'm over 145 kilos right now, so I'm heavier than Homer Simpson, but I'm not 150 kilos right now, which is great. Benru just comes into your streams and shit talks. Ah, okay. Hopefully it's a fun shit talk. I don't know if Benru shit talks in my stream. I have a bit of a blank memory on that.
ぶら下げたままカムロ町に来てること自体おかしい話だ。つまりそれがどういうことかわかる？
ちょっと秋山さん。
どういうことなんすか？
それはね、つまりこの金村工業が低く見られてるってことだよ。
なあ？
きっと上野の連中は金村工業の島の店なら飲んで暴れても大丈夫って思ってんだろうな。
Hi, Volvander.
いくら金村工業が登場界の
trying to look at my ass. You got a good view? Oh, Sage Tanya has the jacked up metabolism, but they won't let me have it.
下の柴田組、そのさらに下の三次団体とはいえ、それちょっと舐められすぎだ。
ちょっとあんた、うちのことバカにしてんのか？
I'm gonna be real, it was a little bit slow. I didn't understand the sarcasm.
やっと本気になったか。悪かったね、木戸ちゃん。調子に乗っていっぱい喋っちゃって。それでいいんだよ、極道は。極道は大門のでかさだけが全てじゃない。てめんところ大門バカにされて頭に来ないようなやつは信用できない。ああ、そうだよな、木戸ちゃん。
まあ。
じゃあここはまあ一つ、カムロ町の平和のために頑張って。あんたらが頑張ってくんないと俺も儲からないしな。ね、兄さん。
ああ、はい。
I have barely been following this intro.
それじゃ。
You like to swim. Nice.
ああ、そうだ、木戸ちゃん。はい。金村さんに言っといてよ。
Passenger! Hi! Welcome to the stream! Welcome! Welcome everyone. My name is Grant. I'm a variety himbo streamer, as it says show on my shirt. I hope you had a wonderful time over at Passenger's stream as they were going through dry drowning. Welcome! How are things? You doing good? I'm doing relatively okay. Oh! Some people, you might be proud of me. So, I'm trying my best to like manage what I eat on a daily basis and what have you. So I'm using like MyFitnessPal to do it. And rather than like, because I was like double checking my like, you know, the amount of food I was eating and what have you with MyFitnessPal, because I was eating like just basically, you know, hot tea, rice, and, you know, just small snacks at work or something or rather. I was like, you know, doing the calorie counting and what have you. But yeah, I normally I would be tempted to like do an Uber Eats order or something like that, but that's very expensive. So I saved myself $30 by walking into a grocery store and getting myself one of those ready cook meals for like $12. So yeah. I'm glad to hear you're doing good, passenger. If you need a de-stream or anything like that, like, you know, bathroom, food, drinks, sleeps, whatever it is, that is A-okay. I'll do my best to keep your raiders, whatsamahoozy, occupied in my stream. Hope it's going okay. Hooray for saving money. Saving money and saving my, calories. The app recommends that I consume... Where's my phone? Bing. Ding. The app whatsamahoozies. All the whatsamahoozies. So yeah, fun fact. Apparently I had like a delayed learning disability or something like that in my early years of childhood. So I had a hard time doing, like, interpreting language and what have you. So apparently... if I was like, the example my mom gives me in the phone call is, I would just be like if I wanted to say, hey, I want a sandwich. This is like back when I was like 2 or 3 years old. Apparently, I'd be like a peanut butter. Like, apparently, like, I would just do random words and only do like critical words that, you know, had value to me. You know, like peanut butter, not may I please or anything like that. So that took like extra lessons after school and what have you. So, but it wasn't until I arrived in Australia in like 2001 when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade that they were like, hey, you might be autistic. So, your fiance calls so many things thingies? Thingy-majigs, whatsamahooz-its, thingamabobs, and just thingies. But yeah, so the base goal that MyFitnessPal gives me is 1,980 calories. So far, I have consumed 1,451 calories today. So yeah. Well, now look at you, full-grown zeebs, doing well. Yes, my full-grown zeebs persona, where I can use all the words correctly in an appropriate order that would work well in the English vocabulary. Yes, I know all the words applicable, and I use the full sentence structure when in conversation between myself and the viewers. Yes. You called watermelon lemon water when you was a kid and confused the crap out of your mom?
自分とこの組バカにされても怒らなくなっちまったら極道は終わりだって。そんなヤクザまがいのやつにはもう上納金を立て替えるためのお金なんて貸してあげませんよ。金借りる時に約束した条件守ってくださいねって。
Why is he saying all this with the door open?
じゃ。
Is he inviting trouble to these peeps? Or was he actually, like, being genuine where it's like, hey, like, you know, if you're gonna be like this, you should stand up for yourselves.
親父いらっしゃったんですか。
いたよ。
いつから
秋山のガキ帰ったんだ。
See, that's what lighters used to be like. These giant fucking things. We didn't do the Bic lighters till like a lot later on, but they all came before the match. The matchstick was a chemical marvel.
さっきお前が言ってた上野の奴らの件どうしたもんか。
とりあえず新井の兄貴にすぐ連絡を取ります。
でも確か新井は柴田の親父と出かけてんじゃなかったのか。
連絡取れるまで電話をかけ続けます。
そうか。
もし上野の連中が暴れたりしたらどうしましょう。
そうだな。
あまり荒っぽいことになるのは避けた方がいいとは思いますが。新井の兄貴なら丸く収めてくれるとは思うんですが。
そうだな。とにかくことを荒立てたくない。新井に任せると言っといてくれ。よいしょ。
Argue with your parents on the pronunciation of Lelo? What do you... Lelo. Matchsticks use rest phosphorus as a ignition and ignition source. Exactly, yeah. We didn't have that previously. We figured out, like, you know, metal shavings and, you know, spark and gas before we figured out that.
秋山俊、32歳。天下一通りでスカイファイナンスって店やってる金貸しだ。神室町の駆け込み寺って言われててな。他の店で融資を断られたようなやつにまで金を貸し付けてる。
闇金ってことっすか？
まあ本人は闇金じゃねえって言ってるが、やってることは同じようなもんだ。ただまあ違うとこがあるとしたら、他の金貸しと比べて融資の条件が変わってるってとこかな。
条件？審査が特殊とかそういうことっすか？
ああ、あのスカイファイナンスって店じゃ客に金を貸すかどうか判断するために融資前に必ず何かしらの条件を客に提示する。その条件ってのがボランティアだの老人介護だの、とにかく一風変わったもんらしい。
はあ、そんなことして何のメリットがあるんですかね。
さあな。それに一部の噂じゃ金利すら取ってねえって話もあるくらいだ。
じゃあどうやって飯食ってんすか、あの秋山って人は。
まあそれは都市伝説みたいな話だろ。実際はちゃんと儲かる仕組みがあるんだろうな。一応さっきうちに来たみたいに金貸した客が飛ばないようちょくちょく見回りしてるみたいだし。
謎だらけの金貸しっすね。
I wonder if it's the case that he convinces the people he's lent money to do the charitable work, and it costs them money to do it.
二度と奴から金を借りることはねえそうだ。
どうして？
それもわからん。ま、何にしてもああいう不気味なやつには関わらん方が身のためだってことだ。
Oh, that's another one that's left purgatory.
付き合ってもらってご苦労だったな。
いや、
まああのビルがどれほどのものか確かめることができただけでも収穫か。お前の携帯か。
すいません。
いやいや。
Did we already go through 2010s in Yakuza series, or is this, are we up to date?
いただきます、柴田組長。
それじゃ。
新井だ。分かった。エルナードだな。少ししたら向かう。
Sounds like a little trouble's brewing over at Club El Nard. Guess I'll go check it out. But yeah, be back soon, getting shopping then dinner. Not to worry, Jason, thank you. Not so fast, tough guy. Seriously, you guys again? Didn't you have enough kicks to the face last time around? Shut it, pisshead. Alright. Mark that down as another potential, another potential, insult name. Pisshead. You're the only one... Shut it, pisshead. You're the only one getting kicked this time. Anarchy. This is him. The asshole I was telling you about. So, you're Akiyama. I've heard about you and that racket of yours. Sky Finance, you called it? My boys here tell me you did a nice little number on them earlier. It's time I return the favor. Look, can we just quit the chatter and get it over with? I have places to be. Smug little asshole. We're gonna bury you. Granted, that was the same one as us. Don't worry, a single stripe on my barcode. Got plenty of insults for every occasion. Write it down still. Write it down, pisshead. Yeah! Ooh, so much kicking! Amazing. Hi there, Storm Killer. Welcome, welcome. You a fellow TikToker? You a fellow TikTok enjoyer? Shit. Listen, guys. You mind staying out of my way from now on? We'd better... We'd both... Listen, guys. You mind staying out of my way from now on? We'd both be better off that way. I'm sure you've got a rep to keep up, so I don't want to tell folks about how I keep kicking your asses. Deal? Fine. But Anarchy, you shut your damn hole. Okay, Akiyama-san. We got nothing to do with you from now on. And nothing happened here today. You got that? Oh, loud and clear. You hear that, boys? Yeah, Anarchy. We're out of here. Later. How am I doing? I'm doing fairly alright. I'm doing fairly okay. I'm doing as I can. Man, talk about a waste of time. Well, I better get on over to Club Elnard. Yay, new information about heat actions. It's not important. Post-club white. New abilities, however, have been unlocked. Soul, Tech. So we got Soul, Tech, Body, and Heat. Enhanced quip stat. Cookie for passenger!
Yeah, you
Here's your
can't spell
cookie.
nutrition without nut, am I right?
You're right. Can't spell nutrition without nut. Essence of finishing. Exited may follow up a different technique. Yes. Railguard crush. So much good stuff. Alright, Phoenix Spirit automatically fills up the heat if your heat gauge is flashing red. Activated when the health gauge is flashing red. Sure. God, why has it gotta be raining? Hey there, Val. Think you could move out of the way? Doesn't look like he has any interest in letting me through. Alright, does anyone know what that says? Does anyone have any... Ow. Does anyone have any ideas to know what that says? I want to say that's... Chinese? Is it Chinese? I hope it's Chinese. It says something that could be translated. Hello. Stormkiller is very much enjoying all the redeems that I have. Don't use them all at once. Is this the club everyone's been talking about? You know Club Errand? I heard they have a ton of cute girls there. Yeah, I'm reading. I'm sorry, but today's not a good day. What's wrong? You've been talking about taking me to this popular hostess club. This is the one, isn't it? Yeah, this is it. They say the service and girls here are all top quality, so I thought you might like it here. Only problem is the customers that are in there today. They're pretty scary folks, boss. I'd rather not try it, you know? What? Really? Kamurocho can get pretty gritty sometimes, though. Huh. Maybe we can wait them out. See when they leave, then head in. How's that sound? Sounds great. Let's wait till things settle down in there. I know you're just gonna love it, boss. Oh, you are going to have a terrible time. I'm sorry, sir, but I can't let you go in right now. Huh? Why not? Well, the truth is, you're gonna run off and hibernate. You have a great rest of your stream. Not to worry, passenger. Thank you for coming along. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Truth is, we have a minor situation going on right now. I suggest you come back when things have calmed down. What kind of situation are we talking about? Drunk and belligerent, sir. A few of our customers have had a little too much, it seems. That's so. I think I'll need to see this for myself. Sir? Sir, wait! How the shit do you still have a job, waiter? Where's the hundreds of bottles of champagne we ordered? It's been 10 minutes already. You idiots growing the grapes in the back room or some shit? So, these are our boys, huh? Yes, sir. It's been going on like this for hours now. They've scared off all our other customers. Akime-san, wait, you can't just... You're off to bed, it's late in the morning. Hope you have a wonderful live stream. Not to worry, thank you so much. If the time zones aren't too great for you, I stream on Saturday mornings my time, which should be like Saturday evening-ish your time. Approximately.
こんなのこの店じゃ市場価格の4倍は取られるぜ。
誰だお前。ボーイって感じじゃねえな。
ああ、うめえ。こんないい酒浴びるように飲むなんて本当の酒飲みのすることじゃねえよな。
何しかとしてんだよ。俺らんこと舐めてんのか？
ん？
どこの誰だって聞いてんだよ。
Get ready to get a bottle over your head.
何もんだこ
れ。よかったぜ、相手が俺で。これがヤーさん相手だったら戦争もんだよ。
Oh, so the guy isn't a Yakuza fella.
違うじゃねえか。
え？話だと。
秋山さん、何やってんすか。
お前一人か？
え？あ、はい。兄貴はまだ時間がかかるみたいなんで。
そうか。
何てめえらごちゃごちゃ喋ってんだ。そうか、分かったぞ。俺らをはめて戦争を始める気だな。
さっきから何言ってんだあんた。
うるせえ。
Not exactly sure.
こうなりゃこっちも
You
焼け
accidentally fell
よ。
asleep at a weird hour in a weird way, so now you're up at 5 a.m. Oh no! And you get to watch me, GrantZeebs, trying to understand the plot to Yakuza 4.
俺の喧嘩だ。この店で起こったことは全部俺とこいつらだけの問題だ。上野とか金村関係ねえ。
秋山さん。
やっぱりか。俺らの素性もバレバレってことか。
俺はこの町でスカイファイナンスって店やってる金貸しだ。この喧嘩俺が勝手にやってるだけのこと。あんたたちがムカついてから絡んだだけだ。組織がどうこうは関係ねえ。
I bet you that guy used to be Yakuza. There's no fucking way with that getup, that medallion. There's no way he wasn't a Yakuza. He obviously got disbanded or kicked out of the organization, but he uses Sky Finance as a means of being able to try and help people similar in vein to when he was a Yakuza.
こっちはいつでもいいぜ。
行くぞこんなきゃ。
I'm very curious if that's the case. Because this would be almost like Kiryu, but the difference is Kiryu wanted out of the Yakuza. This guy wants in. Oh. No, you don't. When nearing a victory against a powerful opponent, you're able to perform an essence of counterattack. If it isn't filled, press the corresponding buttons within a given time. Ooh! Yes! Yes, please! More soul orbs, please. Oh, the max health increases as well. Okay, so we don't have to deal with the trying to increase our health or our spirits with the level up mechanics. We can just, you know, put the orbs onto abilities and what have you. That's a nice improvement. I like that. Good improvement.
Oh, Aniki.
Maybe this guy just has anger issues and wasn't in the Yakuza?
あれが上野の連中か。
新井さん、
Maybe.
ちょっと来るのが遅かったね。
はあ、相変わらずの強さですね。スカイファイナンスにうちら本職が手出せないのもよくわかる。
So we need Sky Finance.
勝手なことして悪かったね。こいつらちょっとムカついたもんでさ。
Ooh, he's quite familiar with him.
さすが新井さんだね。こっちの気持ちがよくわかってる。
この世界に入って最初に覚えたのがこの動作でしたから。ちゃんと一発で火をつけないと兄さんたちに殴り飛ばされたもんです。
そのことじゃないよ。
え？
なんで俺がこいつらと喧嘩したのか聞かないんだ。
うちの親父に金貸した時の条件が関係してるんでしょ
う。やっぱり知ってたんだ。
ええ。秋山さんともあろう人が何の条件もなしにうちの親父に金を貸すわけないでしょ
う。どんな条件か知ってる？
まあ直接親父に聞いたわけじゃないんですが、金村の引退ですよね。
俺はさ、あんたならいけると思ってんだよね。 堂島の竜って言われたあの人の領域に。
Ooh. That is some high praise there.
俺と4代目ではこの世界に足を踏み入れた瞬間から天と地ほどの差があります。俺が金村工業を継いだとこでその差は埋められませんよ。
そんなもんなのかね。俺なんか空から金をもらってからあっという間にここまで来たぜ。
そういえばそうでしたね。忘れてました。
人間チャンスは突然降ってくる。要はそのチャンスをもらってから一気に上り詰められるかどうかなんじゃねえのか。三次団体とはいえ組長は組長、のし上がるチャンスとしては悪くない。あんたも少し真剣に考えておいてくれ。
Oh. Oh, he's got a gun. This one actually feels serious because it's not, you know, fucking Kiryu having to deal with this. What's he gonna do?
どうすんだあんた。その拳銃今ここでぶっ放すのか。そんな勇気があんたにあんのか。
I wouldn't exactly be testing him.
撃ったらこっちもそれなりの対応をしなきゃなんない。だがこのままおとなしく帰るってならこの一件はなかったことにする。どうだ。
何を偉そうに。こっちは上の世話のメンツがかかってんだ。
それは分かってる。だがあんたが撃てば俺も撃つ。あんたらがどうしてこの店で飲んでたのかは問わない。だからその拳銃こっちに渡してくれ。
Oh boy. That's...
来んな
I don't know if you have protagonist energies. I don't know if you're gonna survive this. You just shot his dick, didn't you?
逃げんぞ三島。
大丈夫だ。脇腹をかすった程度だ。
What do you mean it only grazed you?
あいつらを。
What do you... Okay. What do you mean it only grazed you? You got shot in the dick. Okay? He was aiming down at you. He hit you either at or below the belt. That's not grazing. That is a fucking flesh wound.
お前はすぐにあいつらを追いかけろ。
That man's not gonna survive.
おい、キド。
何？
What an interesting scene to enter to.
奴ら捕まえても絶対に無茶な真似するんじゃねえぞ。はい。
Excuse me. No, couldn't get hit. Aw, man.
申し訳ありません。
Sorry to drag you into this, Akiyama-san. Pretty sure it's the other way around, isn't it? No. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. Oh.
もしもし。
Moshi moshi. Hello? What? Don't worry. I'll find him. Kido-chan? Yeah. Figured. I've got some business to tend to. Right. Well, give my regards to Kanamura-san and make sure he remembers his loan terms while you're at it. Very well. What an interesting scene. Did you enter in when I was like, he got shot in the dick, or like at the actual like... Alright, here we go. Ding dong. New abilities unlocked. Alright, what are the 4 stars? The double finishing kick. Yes, because those are actually pretty good. Double kick, an additional kick that follows a front kick. And executed while quick stepping, and effects differ based on direction. The double quick step, and the enhanced quick step. So let's go with double kick. We are increasing our kicks. Oh. Moshi moshi.
ああ、やっと出た。
ああ、花ちゃんか。
社長、さっきから何回電話してると思ってんですか？
Hana-chan's problem?
30回はしてますよ。ちゃんと電話に出てくださいよ。
悪い悪い。ねえ何？
早く会社に戻ってきてください。取り立て行ってからもう何時間経ってると思ってんですか？
何時間くらいだろう。
4時間ですよ、4時間。
は
社長、今何時だと思ってます？ 12時5分です。
Oh, it's past
日付
midnight.
変わってんですよ。
It's already
世の
tomorrow.
中は終電の時間なんですよ。知ってますか？
あ。分かった分かった。悪かったって。
もう全然反省してない。
いや、本当に悪いって思ってるって。
He was drinking.
社長は好きな時
He
間
was
に
drinking and having some
ことばっ
fun.
かりしてるからいいですよ。でも私はですね、毎朝9時から会社来て帳簿の整理したりトイレ掃除したり返済滞ってるお客さんに電話したり出前の注文したりしてるんですから、もうクタクタなんですよ。
出前は関係ないじゃない。君が食いたくて取ってんだし。
とにかく私は超疲れてるんです。
分かってるって。だから今日も先に帰っていいって言ったでしょ。どうせ店の鍵は花ちゃんが持ってんだしさ。
帰れないから言ってるんです。
Sippy time.
どうしてよ。
Sippy time. Cookie for Vol. Here's your
怖い
cookie.
人たちが喧嘩してるんですよ。
喧嘩？いや別に大丈夫でしょ。それくらい。
何言ってるんですか？私レイプとかされたらどうするんですか？
レイプ？君が？
笑いました。
あ、いやいや。
もう冗談じゃないんですよ。なんか一人は銃みたいなの持っちゃってるし、とにかくあんなのに巻き込まれたら大変ですよ。
I just grabbed the cookie out of nowhere, Vol. Don't worry about it.
それどん
It's
な？
totally delicious. It's totally fine.
ですね。なんか一人は上野がどうこうって叫んでましたけど。
上野？
とにかくこのままだと私外に出れないんです。早く会社に戻って何とかしてください。
分かった。すぐ行く。
Zebra milk? Nah. Not a thing. Made up. Doesn't exist. Ridiculous. Oh. Chase music. Listen to that. Listen to that jazz. We are pressured. Also, where's the run button? We need a sprint button. Go. Run. Run. Uh-oh. What the fuck was that? Oh.
新井さん。
Oh. Alright, clearly that bullet grazed you then.
秋山さん、あんたがくれようとしていたチャンス、どうやら俺はもらい損ねたようだ。それじゃ。
新井さん。
They'll be able to trace this all to you. You know this, right? Japan has a very high conviction rating.
Ah, 頭を一撃、余分な発砲は一切なし。こりゃ殺す気満々で撃ってるね。
Who are you?
逃げなくていいんですか？
え？
犯人はさっき走ってった男ですよね。このままだとあなたが警察に捕まることになると思うんですが。
あんた
仇の方ですよね、あなた。
な。
ああ、そうだな。
警察ってのは嫌なやつが多いとこです。捕まったら無理やり自白させられてしまうかもしれませんよ。
But you won't.
花ちゃん。
Hi.
ちょっと手遅れでしたね。
お前動くな。動くな。俺？動くなと言ってるだろ。
いや、おい、違うって。いや、俺じゃないんだって。無駄な抵抗はやめろ。
杉内さんの尋問は半端ないと思いますんで、気合い入れて頑張ってください。それじゃ。
暴れるな、お前。動くな。
杉内っておい、ちょっと待てよ、あんた。いや、だから違うんだって。さっきのところに聞いてよ。ねえ、
社長。
花ちゃん。
社長。
This is a great opening so far. I kind of appreciate it. Plus, that was a fairly quick chapter, amazingly enough. Chapter 2. The One. Oh, that's okay, that's either the events of Yakuza 1 or the events of... Actually, yeah, no, that's the events of Yakuza 1, because that would have been the Millennium Tower explosion. Yeah, that's the events of Yakuza 1. Because, yeah.
Oi, okiro. Okiro.
Okay, so, if you weren't here for Yakuza 1, essentially what happened is that there was about 4 billion yen that was stolen. And, like, the Yakuza, like, the people that run Kamurocho were trying to find out where it is. Kiryu, like, figure, like, you know, through, like, you know, all kinds of different nonsense and what have you, going to Purgatory and all that, finds out that the 4 billion yen was stolen by his childhood friend, Mimi, or whatever her name was, and, you know, she pretends to be the niece to her daughter, so to, you know, avoid suspicion of, you know, her daughter and what have you, because turns out she had an affair with a politician, and the politician was using the Yakuza to, you know, do all kinds of money nonsense, and so then... she stole the 4 billion yen, more to say fuck you to this particular corrupt politician than to the actual Yakuza, like, family in Kamurocho. And there was, like, a bomb, and, Nishiki, like, blew it up or something or other with the politician. Is there no English dub for this game? No. There is no English dub. The English dub doesn't happen until Yakuza Like a Dragon. Like, it isn't until Yakuza 7. Now, I've already played through Yakuza 7. I probably am not going to play Yakuza 7 again on stream for this whole franchise catch-up thingy-majiggy. If you want to see me play Yakuza 7, you should have been here years ago when I did that. Or, check out my YouTube. Maybe I have it as a VOD. Who knows?
花ちゃんのことですか。
あの女すげえ必死だったぜ。雨の中ずぶ濡れになりながらここに来て「社長はやってません」ってな。
そうですか。
秋山。これ以上金村工業みたいなクズとは付き合うな。 駆け込み寺だかなんだか知らねえが、てめえみてえに誰彼構わず金を貸すバカがいると、バカから金借りたバカが調子乗って暴れんだ。これ以上俺ら警察の邪魔しないでくれよ。な。
何が言いたいんですか？
お前がゲーム感覚で金を貸すと犯罪が増えるって言ってんだよ。
ゲーム感覚ですか。
Supporting people struggling is apparently inviting
お前
crime.
が絡んでたってことは割れてんだ。お前が遊び半分で金村連中を煽ってっからこんなことになっちまったんだよ。
杉内さん。
ああ？
俺はね。
So now they can buy clothes at the soul
俺なりの信念があって
store with the stolen money.
金。
Yes. Technically speaking, all that money is stolen, so I wouldn't be surprised if the police didn't start trying to seize it. But they probably, you know, tried seizing it too late.
早く帰りたいんで。
金村が死んだよ。
Huh? What do you mean dead?
お前がぐっすり寝ている最中だ。いいか、これ以上金村工業と上野清和会の件には関わるな。てめえが金村の連中に近づいたらこっちも徹底的にお前のこと洗ってやるぞ。
Oh. Moshi Moshi. Chief, I finally got a hold of you. I'm so glad you're out. I thought you'd be in the slammer for weeks, months, maybe even years. Hana-chan, you know I was only there for questioning, right? They didn't actually arrest me. Whatever it was, I'm so relieved. All that running I did down to the station paid off. Yeah, you really came through for me, Hana-chan. I appreciate it. By the way, Chief, while you've been lounging around in jail, work's been piling up like there's no tomorrow. Get back to the office now. Hana-chan, please. I barely slept a wink last night. I'm seriously wiped out here. And whose fault is that, All that nonsense yesterday could have been avoided if you just did your job. Don't let me down this time, Chief. We have tons of work to do. Hana-chan? Hello? She hung up on me. Might as well head back to Sky Finance. I am going to take the long way to Sky Finance. See if I can deal with any crimes. See if there's any crime. Hello, fella. Man, why'd I have to wear this today? There's no way I can roll up to the hostess club in this getup. Michiko would roast me in front of everyone. Certain items when engraved to improve your look and make hostess like you more. These times you can be obtained from stores such as brand name retailers and pawn shops. If your effort doesn't get the right reaction, put on some stylish items and try again. No, looks aren't what matters. It's what's on the inside that counts. I'll go as I am now, though I should at least buy her a present. My head's going to explode. Wow, CEO. Why don't your head explode? Yep. Going to a thingy-majiggy. Yep, cool. Hello? Hello? Dude? Dude, you good? Dude? You, stop right there. Congratulations. You've been carefully selected from a crowd of thousands. You're the one I'm gonna beat up today. Hooray! Lucky you. Come, show some enthusiasm. Gang members. It's a gang! Trying to gang up on me? Yakuza, I crave violence. Violence! You're strong. No, please, no more. Take this. I'm sorry I messed with you. I gained a passable Saitaman X. Excellent. I knew you were going to be a problem. I knew I was going to get into a fight. Now, let's get into more fights. The fuck's with that? Aha. What, you need something from me, man? What are you doing here? Oh, well, I'm selling stuff out of this car. This town's gotten pretty crazy lately, don't you think? So, I'm taking my shop on the move. On the move? So you take it to other cities then? Nah, I could never leave Kamurocho. Try to find me around town when you've got a sec when you do. I'll welcome you and your business with open arms. Okay. Weird. Can I, like, more fights on these? Mother, I crave violence. No matter how long I wait for her, I know she won't come. Every story has an ending. Some fulfilling, some not. Our stories fall with the latter, I'm afraid. But an unfulfilling ending doesn't need to be sad. It's merely an end. Finished ticks and complete stars are two different indicators that a substory has been cleared. They appear under substories in the pause menu. Finished indicates a less satisfying ending to the substory. A finished substory will still count towards your completion list. Time for me to start another chapter in the story of my love life, but first, a drink in the Champion District. Maybe two. Aha. Damn it, seriously? I swear, there are never any open lockers in this stupid place. Maybe once or twice a year if you're lucky. Do I need to get up earlier or something? Coin lockers were once rented out by those who needed them, but all their keys have been lost. The keys are scattered around Kamurocho, lying on the road and hidden behind objects. Whoever finds the keys has the right to obtain whatever is inside their locker. I got a key locker radar. Fuck yes. Ding. Items. Yay. Accessories. Oh. You there. Did you just give me the stink eye? Know what happens when you do that in this part of town? I'll be more than happy to demonstrate. Bring it on! Bring it on, red face. I didn't think that the scooters could be so destructible. There you go. Sup, dude? You know what you need more in your life, kid? You need more cardio. Well, that didn't work as well as I hoped, but it did. The motor physics, they're terrible. What happened? You're way too strong. I'm sorry. I obviously didn't know what I was getting into. I hope you'll accept this and forgive me. Fantastic. Alright. Now, apparently... Oh, there it is. There it is. Got it. Alrighty. Oh, there it is. There we go. Alright, so they've been hiding the keys better this time. They've been doing a better job hiding these particular keys. Did you hear about the Moida? Oh, hello. Rooftops must exist so that you can get a better look at the sky. I mean, you get your run-of-the-mill weirdos up there too, but they almost add to the wonder of rooftop sky gazing. You can get to the rooftop areas from various places in Kamurocho. Rooftops are designed into the southwest and southeast areas. These areas can be used as an alternative route to typical hill street routes. Rooftop entrances and exits are marked on your map. However, most building managers deem it too dangerous when it's raining and will close off roof entrances in wet weather. You should learn all the rooftop routes. Not only do you get a killer view of the city and the sky, but you can get to all sorts of unexpected places from way up high. Cool. Probably not my concern. Ooh, hello. Purple suit? What are you looking at? You! Yeah, you! Despite the best attempts of internet weirdos who insist they aren't weird despite their political and philosophical disposition, I am now here. Look at them. Look at Izzy. Izzy is here. Izzy, the fat cat. Look at this. Ding, 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 dong. Ding, ding, bong. Look upon Izzy and the fat cat. Aww. That's so sweet. I didn't hear anything in that clip, however. What? I don't know why I couldn't hear anything. You. Yeah, you. I've been calling you for ages now. My throat's getting sore from all the shouting. Couldn't you hear me? Don't play dumb with me or you'll be wearing your ass for a hat. How has the art speed? Oh, wrong button. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. But that's okay. I will just get into this fight and hit harder than ever before. Oh, fuck you, sumo wrestlers. Don't you fucking dare! Bam! This guy does nothing but kicks. He does nothing but kicks. He's like Sanji. Please, have mercy. I was wrong. I know that now. Here, you can have it in your heart to forgive me. 10,000 yen, which is essentially... Hello? What's this? Another key? You decided, as a chill art streamer who doesn't really say as many clippable things as possible, you will just show off bits of your art in 10-second intervals instead. What do you mean? You can say some cool stuff. You can say some cool stuff. You'll probably have, like, very based opinions as an artist. You can probably, like, you know, say something really cringy, such as, you know, you believe that the One Punch Man webcomics has a better art style than the One Punch Man manga. And you know what? As an artist, very few people could possibly, like, refute you on that one. I'll be real with you, if you actually did have that kind of a take, I don't think I would trust you. But it's in you're allowed to have that opinion. Alrighty. I must now go up. Sure, but I don't say things when I'm not directly talking to someone. Yeah, okay, that... legit. That is real. 'Cause, you know, I don't do too well. I don't do too well with the, like, you know, being able to just, like, talk, like, project and what have you. There's normally, like, something... there's, like, normally someone I'm talking to or what have you. And then they get me onto a topic, and I can just rant on the topic. Don't forget to eat, Chief. Sure, but I don't. People don't come to me for chats, save for the scant few. Well, you know what this means? I don't know how I feel about that. You should see the shit I say in other people's chats, like drain his blood first and his spume second. Question for you, Izzy. Question for you. Who is your favorite One Piece character? Are you up to date with One Piece as well? Are you currently following the Eggman Island or the Egg Island? I can't remember if it's Eggman Island or Egg Island. But are you following the current arc? It's pretty banger. It's pretty banger. We're up in the clouds. We doing science. I was gonna say I'm a fake fan. Gasp.
Light.
It's Egghead Island. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. I don't follow the arcs, I just follow the events, okay? And the most recent one was fucking banger. Can't wait for everyone in the One Piece fandom to, like, you know, have, like, fucking knots in their battle, like, thingy-majiggy, just being like, haha! Be careful! The fuck is with the photo? I don't recognize anyone from that photo. The events take place on Egghead Island. Yes, but I knew the island. I knew the island, okay?
すみません。お客さんですか?
Hello.
どうぞどうぞ。はい。
Hello.
スカイファイナンスってこちらでよろしいんでしょうか?
Yes.
ええ。
I only show up for the fight with at the end of Wano country. Are you talking about the Bulbasaur dude, or are you talking about Shanks? Are you talking about the Bulbasaur dude, the redhead dude? Are you talking about what? Why are you question marking? That is the best way I can describe that admiral. I have honestly No, Gear 5 with the dragon. Oh, that's Luffy. That's Luffy against, holy shit. Beast Pirate Man. Fuck. Shit. Kaido. That Luffy against Kaido. God damn, I am struggling with names.
どうぞどうぞおかけください。
はい。
You're just gonna challenge me on names, and it's like it's not even gonna be very difficult like characters. It's just gonna be like, oh, who was Usopp's villain when you first meet him? Are you gonna take off your top or something? Like, I'm not asking you to. I just the way you're doing like the thing makes me think you're going to. I barely recognized her.
タバコ吸ってもいいでしょうか?
I have.
ああ、はいはい。どうぞどうぞ。すいませんね。接客はいつもジムの女の子に任せっきりなもんで、こういう時気が利きませんで。
I don't smoke, but I feel like I would really benefit from having a cool lighter. Like, I'd light up candles and, like, incense sticks at most, but I still think I would like a cool Zippo lighter or something. I don't know how I deal with the maintenance, but, you know.
はい。
それで、ご融資の件ですが。
Although, probably not a good idea to have a lighter, because knowing my luck, I'll forget I have the lighter, and then I'll go traveling, and then I'll go to the airport, and it's like, you can't have a lighter. A fake cigarette chew sim toy? Wait, you can get that? You can get that for stimming purposes? You can get a chew toy?
無制限にお金を貸してもらえるというのは本当でしょうか?
Is that a thing? You can just, you know, get your own, like, stimming thing?
どちらでそのような話を？言えないと。まあいいでしょう。多分あなたへの融資を断った同業他社の方にでも聞いたんでしょうから。うちの店は金貸せないけど、あの店なら貸してくれるかもよって。どうせ他にもいろいろ吹き込まれたんでしょ。うちの店は同業の人たちにはあんまり評判良くないでしょうからね。
Nah, look, fidget spinners, not for me. Fidget spinners, I think, are too much. Fidget cubes, however, fidget cubes were kind of fun. I actually like the fidget cube, but the problem is that I don't need something for my fingers. I don't need something for my fingers to fidget. I need something for my mouth to fidget. That's the problem. Is like I need like something to chew, and it has happened where I will just chew the fucking plastic. Like, I don't know why. Like, I can chew gum and such, but it's like you don't have an option of like a chewing gum where it's like you will probably like only periodically get to and what have you.
カムロ町にしては変わった名前のお店だなと思いまして。今あなたが働いてるお店のライター？
あ、いやそうではないんですけど。以前そのお店にお世話になっていたことがありまして。
そっちの業界長いんですか？
Yeah. Cerveza Cristal. Cerveza Cristal. We'll let the advertisement run. We won't go through the cutscenes and what have you with that. So, if you don't have any advertisement, then you're welcome to chat with me. Not yet. Not.
Hello.
Yet. Hello, YY. Welcome, welcome. How are yous? I hope you're doing okay. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully you're doing alright. Alrighty, click on this thing, complete all these requests. There we go. Thank you for the head pats. I appreciate it. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. YY. I'm doing fairly alright. One of the things I want to try and do is figure out how to do a, I know this is like very fucking juvenile, but I want to get a Minecraft server for Australia working. I want, like, because I got an Unraid. I got a PC that runs, like, basically 24/7 in the living room right now, and that's, like, a media server. It's not the best PC, I will be real with you, but it is relatively powerful enough that I feel like it can do the, it can do video game server hosting, because it's got the RAM sticks for it. And I want to host a Minecraft session. Not just any Minecraft, mind you. RL Craft. I want to host an RL Crafts session, because I reckon that would be fun. Alright, you were so caught up about getting home, you forgot how you've been feeling this whole day. In a dissociative, grieving state. Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Damn. I guess our moods must have swapped, because I was in an absolutely shitty state on Monday, but I'm doing better today, but I guess it's not going too well. Do you need me as like a distraction from the grieving state, or do you need me as like a empathetic thingy-madiggy for the grieving state? I don't know if this is like, you know, close to home to you, or is like, you know, the one with the the creator of the What's-a-Mahoozy FA dying or something. Is either either they're dying or they have cancer. I can't remember which one it is, but either way, a lot of problematic shit going off. Distraction. Ah, yes, I can do that. I can do the distractions. Look, look, there's a Oop, seated? Full seated. Look, there's a fishing game. Fishing. Nice. He died of cancer. Ah, okay. Damn, so it was both. Shit. But yeah, okay, cool. Advertisement is done. Welcome back, everyone. We're now able to continue through Yakuza 4.
まあ、それなりに。
Bits and pieces of the dialogue I'm getting lost on, I will be real with you.
で、いくら必要なんですか?
Oh, yeah, she wanted a loan. Ow.
とりあえず、いくら貸してほしいのか言ってくれなくちゃ、こっちも話のしようがないんで。
1億。
That's a lot.
現金で1億円。
100 million yen is basically like
私に融資していただけませんでしょうか。
basically a million.
1億ですか。
はい。
His latest Blue Sky message was 4 hours before the news of his death, complaining about his $1,300 hospital debt. Haunting to say.
担保?
I wouldn't put it as haunting. I would put it as like foreboding. So yeah. That was probably like his last, like, maybe it wasn't his like guaranteed last thought, but it was definitely like a major one before the news of like, yeah, you're very much close to dying at this point, where he's just like, damn, this fucking hospital debt.
自分の言ってることの意味分かってんの?
やっぱり無理ですよね。そんな話。そうですよね。すみません。私どうかしてました。この話忘れてください。お時間取らせてしまってすみませんでした。それじゃ。
ちょっと待った。
You're not here to bum everyone else out. No, that's okay. That's okay. That's understandable. Look, that's fine. You wanna get distracted? You can get distracted. Okay? It's very easy. Observe. God damn it, game. Why did you decide to fade to black at this point? Nope, there we go. Alright, here we go. Get ready for some amazing VA work. Get ready for some amazing VA work, Izzy. I am going to VA the shit out of this. I'm going to do both the man and the woman. Now, here's the deal. We require each of our clients to pass a test before we finance their loans. A test? That's right. A test to gauge whether or not we can trust you. Trust me. Yep. We test all of our customers before agreeing to loan them anything. We had one person care for the elderly for a week, and another pick up all the litter in Kamurocho. We even had one woman work in the red light district. The tests get more difficult depending on the loan amount and terms, and in your case, well, the test will be hard. You got it. But if you pass, I promise to loan you the amount you want under the terms you specified. Oh, we just skipped to cutscene again. Okay.
以上が当店からの条件です。テストに合格しなければ融資することはできません。さっき10日以内って言ってたけど、つまりあなたすぐにお金が必要なんだよね。
はい。
急いでるんだよね。
はい、そうです。
でもテストに受からなかったら時間の無駄遣いになっちゃうわけなんだけど、どうします？それでもテストの方受けてみますか？
He doesn't have 10 million yen. Sorry, let alone 100 million yen. Alright, here we go. I don't think drinking the tea was the test, but you're... Yeah, sure, let's get started.
はい。やらせてください。
本当にいいんですね。
私にはもう他の選択肢はないんです。お願いします。そのテスト受けさせてください。
Alright. Oh. Mind if I take this? Go right ahead. Moshi Moshi. Sky Finance. Oh, this is Akiyama-san. Kaido-chan, where are you? Is everything okay? I'm down at Kamurocho Precinct. They just finished grilling me about Kanamura-san. Kanamura? What are they questioning you about? I'm the one who found him. Walked back into the office and there he was. Dead. Sorry you had to see that. But hey, it hasn't been smooth sailing on my end either. Speaking of, I take it you heard about Arya-san by now? Yeah. Some detective named Sugauchi told me. I still can't wrap my head around it. Me neither. Listen, we shouldn't talk about this stuff over the phone. You free to meet up later? Yeah, I got some questions I want to ask you too. Sure thing. Think you can call me back in a few though? I'm just finishing up with a customer. Oh, yeah, no problem. Talk to you soon. Okay, I love you. Sorry about that. Seems another one of my customers is in a bit of a pinch. It's fine. So, back to business. 10 days. 100 million yen. That's right. Understood. In that case, can I ask you to swing by again tomorrow? I'm gonna need a little time to mull that test over. Okay. Come prepared, though. We'll be starting right when you get here. I will. Excuse me.
それじゃあ明日。
ご来店お待ちしてます。お名前聞いてもよろしいですか？
リリーと言います。
That sounds like a fake name.
ですか。それは本名？それともお店の名前？
I don't know if that would be like a...
ダメですか？
いえ、いいです。
Damn, his cheekbones like
明日のご来店お
pushed out
待
a
ちして
little
ま
bit
す。
with that. Moshi Moshi. Hey, it's Akira. Sorry to spring this on you last minute, but I'm bringing a new girl into this club. She starts tomorrow. Provided she actually shows up, that is. Rearrange the shifts, shuffle things around. I don't care how you do it, just make it work. Look, I know how to run my business. Besides, I already made up my mind. Don't let me down. Later. Ball's in her court now.
Huh?
Chief, you actually decided to show up today. Good to see you too, Hana-chan. Is surprisingly slick. No, here's the thing, is that by saying, oh, is that your name, or is that the one you use at work? Sure, that might be that might be a furry, thing, but to me it sounds like, oh, it's like as if someone, has a stage name, but let's be real, whenever you say, oh, is that just the name you use at work, it sounds like, it sounds like a, it sounds like a red light district thing. Here, you can save your game, move items to the item box, reminisce on past events. Tomorrow you will cover while at the hideout. Walk around town while I wait for Keto. Wait. Oh, okay, that's just to save my progress. There we... Ooh, 70772. So we walk around. $70805. Oh. Oh, this game has one of... Oh, yeah, because it has, like, the thingy-majiggy I had. Alright, 70838. Give me a second. I'm going to double-check if it does something that I think it does. $7089. Oh, no. Oh, it has a... It has one of those. So long as there isn't like a timer thing, like Dead Rising. Ooh, hello? Nope. Someone's gone again. Sound's gone again. Default Unity ass walk cycle. Hey, give respect to the Unity walk cycle. It is hard doing animation, okay? It is hard trying to do that nonsense. I can't do it. This is the tops of my animation. You ready for this? You ready for this? All right, hang on a second. Let me just like change. Let me change my camera angle so it's like something like this or maybe like that. Actually, hang on a second. Bing, dong, and then Vignon, portrait far, portrait close, portrait tall. Nope. Ding. Bong. You ready? You ready? You ready for this? You ready? You ready for the... Oh, god damn you. I pressed the wrong buttons. Portrait far. All right, tink. This is the length of the animation that you will see me having. You ready for this? You ready for this? It is cookie, and look at that. Like it even like lifts my feet up, as you can see. Look, it does this thing. I'm not even that good of an animator. And then there's like arm flexing, as you see here. Like look at this. Look at these arms. Look at these arms doing their thing. And then dabbing. Look at that. Dab, 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 dab. And then I have pet dance, which is, this. But you'll notice that the boobs go like a little bit out. See how they do that? I don't know why it does that. I don't know why it decides to like pull out and then back in. Don't know why. Makes no sense to my brain. But yeah. That's the limit. That's the limit. All right. Ding, dong, bam. Oh no! Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Okay, I need to fix this. Hang on a second. Graphics. 1920 by 1080. Set window frame size. There we go. That fixes it. Ding, dong, ha-bam, ha-bong. Hello? Akiyama-san, it's me. Is now a good time? Yep, we're all in the clear. What's up? There's something I gotta talk to you about. You mind if we meet up for a few? Not at all. Where at? How about that building in Theater Square? You know, the red one down the alley? We'll have some privacy there. Anyway, it's the one right across from the movie theater. I'll be waiting up on the roof. Roof of the red building. Got it. Perfect. See you there. Sounds like I should head to the theater district. Sounds like. Alrighty. I wonder, are the roofs actually this accessible? Oh, hello? Moshi Moshi. Oh, Chief, I'm so glad I caught you. Why? What's up? There's a customer who wants to see you. It seems kind of important. Can you come back to the office? Yeah, hang tight. I'll be there as soon as I can. I literally just, like, went from, like, one roof to another. And already I'm having to run back down. Gosh darn Z's. To Sky Finance. Then tier to Sky Finance. Chief, you have a customer waiting. The one you told me about on the phone? Got it. Thanks. Apologies for the wait. So tell me, what brings you here today? Are you Akiyama-san? You provide interest-free loans here, is that right? Indeed I do. That said, there are a few conditions. May I ask your name? It's Shiobara. How much are you willing to lend out, usually? Mind telling me why you need the money first? That'll help me decide whether or not I should give you the loan. Well, not too long ago, I drove my printing company into bankruptcy. I'd inherited the place from my father, you see. But this time, I figured I'd start my own company, from the ground up. You ran your father's company into the ground? It made money, but not enough to get out of the red. In the end, all I could do was downsize. But downsizing isn't always the best option, you know? The company was already on its way under. If our only available option was downsizing, wouldn't it have been better to just pull the plug? I think it's cowardly to fire people just to try and keep a company artificially afloat. So I took responsibility for my bad management and let the place go bankrupt. No hard feelings all around, right? I don't know. You did just tank a company because you wanted to do something else, and you let it so that you took the brunt and said, like, oh, sorry, bad management. Like, that doesn't help the people who can't start their own business. But to be fair, he's also coming to us for a loan, which means he's not in a good position anyway. A picture of Pete Parsons flashing on the screen. Who? Who? Never heard of that man before. You're making that up. Like, is he like a Chris Hansen guy or what's... Hang on. Pete Parsons. Oh, the CEO of Bungie. Yeah. Okay. Okay. For those of you who are not aware, Pete Parsons, the CEO of Bungie, let go, like, you know, a couple hundred people. And a number of them also joined Sony Entertainment as, like, part of their first-party studios. And this all seems really fucking crazy. And it is crazy. Oh, here's the other thing. $2.3 million worth of luxury cars from one website that we know of that does auctions for luxury cars because the information is publicly available to us. So who knows how much more money he spent. And what's more is he's been kind of a dick because apparently, like, he's shown off his luxury cars to, like, employees, like, 3 days before they were given the boot and shit. It's like, there's a bit of a separation between the struggles of the higher-ups that were there at, like, the start and are able to, like, reap the rewards of Bungie versus the people working in Bungie now. What started as, like, an 1,800 to nearly 2,000 people group has now been shrunk down to, like, 800, 700 people. It's still a lot of people, don't get me wrong, but basically Bungie has shrunk down to, like, less than half its size since Sony picked them up. I see. Spoken like a typical spoiled heir. The old company doesn't matter now anyway. What's important is getting this new company off the ground, so... Will you lend me some money? I'm not against the idea, but why come to me? Can't you get your bank to cover it? I guess I didn't pass the review. They asked me what business the company would be in, but I hadn't decided yet. Something online, that's for sure. Still haven't figured it out, huh? What, you need planning documents too? Don't you loan sharks usually skip all that formality crap? No, it's just... Never mind. How much did you need? Let's see... How about... 5 million. Why so much? Though now that I think about it, you probably have no idea how much you really need. What the hell? I'll lend you the 5 mil. No interest, no collateral. Seriously? You're not pulling my leg here. But first, you're gonna have to pass my test. Sure, bring it on. I don't know what kind of test you're talking about, but I'll do anything you ask. Alright, so you want to start a company. Be its president? In that case, I'll need you to... Find 3 business partners. Find 3 people to be your business partners and bring them to me. Business partners? 3 of them? Is that really all you need? Yeah, people who'd be happy to help build up a company. What do you think? Can you do it? What are you talking about? I've got tons of friends. It won't take long at all. I'll be right back, okay? Better get that 5 million for me. I think it's cowardly to fire just to keep a company artificially afloat. Kitchen nightmare stinger as Pete Patterson's special car flashes on screen. Yeah. Look, here, okay. You're gonna make me say this? I'm gonna say this. Bungie is not the company that we desire from when they were doing the Halo series. And what's more is they aren't a company that we should have desired during the Halo series, because in Halo 2, they went through a whole ton of crunch and were responsible in court proceedings for divorces for some of their people. And then, lo and behold, they got bigger, they released Destiny, and Destiny, let's be real, isn't losing numbers or anything like that, but they are definitely, like, when Destiny was first brought in, like Destiny 2 as well, it was like oh, here's a Warframe killer, but the fact of the matter is that the actual hallmarks of the video games that we want is not going to be so easily, you know, done through the AAA industry and what have you. And what's more is we had a number of people from, like, Bungie's PvP side, you know, leave and make their own company, and we had Sony do their own, like, Sony saw the company get made, and they were like, hey, we got a game we're working on. It looks like this. It's sort of this kind of shooter arena. And Sony looked at it and they were like, we love your skills. We have total interest in your company. Let us buy your companies, and we can be publishing your games. And they're like, yeah, okay, sounds good. And then lo and behold, a few, like, years later, we get Concord. Narratively speaking, it feels like a Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff, which a lot of people were going to be having a bit of a hard time trying to get into. It was a hero shooter, or it was an arena hero shooter, which everyone was just sort of like, don't we have enough of those? Didn't Overwatch release twice for this? And then, you know, Marvel Rivals is also doing that thing as well. And then you had people go through the closed beta, and it's mixed feelings, because it's like, oh, you have your casual, you have your fast, and then you have your competitive. But it doesn't do each of these things, like, better than a competitor does. And what's worse is it doesn't do it better than a competitor that is either cheaper or free. It doesn't do the arena shooter better than Overwatch. It doesn't do the competitive better than CSGO. And it doesn't do the whole, like, squad-like thing as well as Valorant. Like, it's very difficult trying to argue for you and 4 mates to purchase $40 or to buy a game for $40. It's really difficult to do so. And yeah, I think we're going through this, like, trend with because of the Internet of Things, because of how many games are being released and the amount of marketing that needs to go into them and what have you. Because let's be real, Concord did not have a lot of marketing. Concord did not have as much marketing as you would think, like, fucking FIFA, or maybe, no, it didn't have as much as Helldivers. I don't know. Sony just doesn't do, like, they don't sell you on games, they sell you on the platform, is for some reason. Whereas with, like, some PC games or multi-console games, they are definitely going to advertise the fuck out of them. But, yeah. Chief, I couldn't help it over here. Are you really going to lend money to that piece of work? He's nowhere near fit to start a company. You think so too, huh? To tell you the truth, I agree. He's all talk. He sees a lot of that nowadays. So you never planned on giving him a loan in the first place? Then why bother with a test? Oh, I'll lend him the money, but only if he passes. I'm going to teach him it's a rough world out there. But what if, just on the off chance? Don't worry about it. A big mouth like him could never hope to pass one of my tests. You know, Hana-chan, a man might have a lot of people he calls friends, but I doubt many of them would actually be willing to risk their livelihoods on him. He says it'll be a cinch to find 3 of them, but unless he's especially trustworthy or charismatic, they won't be on board. God, I hope so. Welcome back. So, where are those 3 partners? They just don't understand. I told them they could easily pull in 100 million yen a year if they just left everything to me. Ah, so you failed the test. Yeah. It's not my fault. It's theirs. They're just too blind to see it. And after all those times, they begged for my invite to my parties, too. Parties? My online game parties. You mean you haven't heard? They're kind of a big deal. They called me Hurricane Salt. I see. Well, it hardly matters at this point. You weren't able to pass the test, which means our loan discussion is over. My apologies. Hana-chan, would you mind showing Shiobana-san here out? It's time for him to go. Of course! Right this way, sir! Wait a second, you're telling me you know all about me from one lousy test? Who do you think you are, a god? Please, I'm counting on you. Give me just one more chance. One more. Please, I'm begging you. Let me try again. I swear it'll take a whole lot more seriously this time. We have other businesses to attend to, you know? But it doesn't look like you'll be leaving anytime soon, so... Alright. One more time. Bring me 10 presidents' business card. Bring me the business cards of 10 company presidents. Any kind of company will do. 10 business cards? Is that really all you need? Corporate CEOs, presidents of small factories, take your pick. Just find 10 of them. Get their cards, bring them here. Are you sure? Sounds pretty easy. I mean, I used to be a president myself. I can get 20 or even 30 cards, no problem. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Well, good luck. I'll see you soon. I'll be right back, okay? Better get that 5 million ready for me. Why are you giving him a second chance? You'd usually send someone like him well on his way by now. He's just so astoundingly clueless. Don't you want to see how it all ends? Not particularly. Look at it from my perspective. You always forget to collect on your loans. Too many bonehead customers like him and I will be up to our neck in extra work. And I appreciate every ounce of work you do, Hana-chan. Don't I always treat you to a delicious meal at the end of every month? I guess you can do what you want. It is your company after all. If it were you, Hana-chan, how would you go about collecting 10 president's cards? Well, I'd probably pop into an office building and talk to company presidents directly. A frontal to attack, huh? Good answer. As for me, I'd probably grab a president or two, take them to a print shop, and have them make me some cards. A little aggressive, maybe, but yeah, that sounds like something you'd do. Nothing wrong with that. Hell, I could even have a print shop make up a bunch of fake cards if I wanted. Your straightforward method requires courage, while mine calls for quick wit. Regardless, I doubt he's capable of either. Welcome back. So you got those cards? Yeah. I only have one. My father's. None of the CEOs I knew at my company are even in this town. Are there any company presidents here? It's all businessmen and restaurateurs. Actually, you're looking at one. Sorry if my appearance deceived you. Well then, since you were able to pass the test, I'm afraid I won't give you the loan after all. Hana-chan, would you mind showing Shiobara here out? It's time for him to go. Oh, alright, but only one more. Invite a hostess here after the club closes. Why is this a hostess club? That's it? I just bring the girl here and the 5 million's mine? Oh no. Oh, come on. It should be a piece of cake for a guy like you. What's the problem? I just don't have the cash. Hostess clubs are expensive, you know. It's a real shame. I'd have all kinds of girls tailing after me. I just had the money. I'd be like the Pied Piper of Kamurocho. Hi there, Shibore. Welcome to the stream. I guess I'll have to point you over to my friend's hostess club then. You can put it on my tab. The place is called Sweet, over on Pink Street. Just tell him Akiyama sent you, and they'll take care of the rest. Really? You can't do it without money, right? Well, I'm making that particular problem go away. So what do you think? You can do that? Yeah, of course. No problem at all. I'll bring you the best hostess in the club. I'll be right back, okay? Better get that 5 million ready for me. I feel like this guy is gonna fail. And I've never seen you get this many. I suppose you're right, but it's all just so interesting, don't you think? Guy is a walking disaster. Why'd you send him to a hostess club? You'll just go out and have fun on your tab, no less. A first-time visitor to a hostess club hardly ever manages to invite a girl out anyway. Anybody who succeeds is either rich or a smooth talker. But this guy's broke, so he has about a 0% chance of pulling this off. We don't know that. I mean, he might fall in some crazy beginner's luck. That would be a miracle. Well, if he pulls off a miracle at a time like this, it'll be the first of many. Luck is just another kind of talent, wouldn't you agree? Maybe. But even so, if that guy gets his own miracle, then he's one of the most talented men I have ever met. Hello? You failed? Welcome back. The club is no good. The girl at my table only said a few words, then clammed up almost immediately. Isn't it her job to get the conversation going? I'm the customer. The paying customer. Yeah, paying with someone else's money. Seriously, though, any other club and I would have had them eating out of the palm of my hand. It all boils down to a bad club. Even if we were to assume it was the club's fault, you still didn't manage to pass the test.
Hi.
Right this way. There are no more. I've given you 3 chances already. No matter how many times you try, you'll never pass. I'm tired of having to string along a big talking nitwit. Will you just leave already? You really want to start your own company, don't you? Are you sure you're being entirely honest with me and with yourself? Fine. Then this is your honest-to-goodness last chance. You fail, you leave. Got it? My friend's leaflet company's in the red. If you can get it to turn a profit again, I'll lend you the 5 million yen. The door is right there if you're not interested. What's it going to be? You in or out? Where's the leaflets company? It's Paradise Advertising on West Shikafuku Street, just past the M store. Let me give them a call. God damn, this was a long way to get to Paradise Advertising. Ah. 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 Ugh. Akiyama-san, to what do I owe the pleasure? You've been asking for management advice, right? I found just the man for the job. Name Shiobara-kan. I'll be sending him your way shortly. Really? Shiobara-san, is it? Thank you so much. I'll be waiting. Now it's all up to you. Paradise Advertising is on West Shikafuku Street. I'm sure you'll see it when you get there. Chief, are you sure about this? That's one heck of a test. Isn't Paradise Advertising doing really bad right now, business-wise? Stuck in the red even though sales remain strong and steady? Night-night, Grant. Hope you have a stream goes amazing. Not to worry, Trumpet Collins. Thank you for dropping in. I'm probably gonna wrap up in like half an hour or so myself. So hang on a second. I'm just gonna stop rates for an hour. So I'm probably gonna wrap up in like half an hour or so. So thank you so much for stopping by. That's right. Even if sales go through the roof, the expenses are always higher, which means their only choice is to downsize and cut their... Ah, yep. All they can do is downsize, and our friend Shiobara, who would rather see a company die than shrink, will now be forced to do just that. You're a bad man. Call it shock therapy. If he can't do this, he's hopeless. Shock therapy. Don't you think you should go check up on him just in case? You never know. Well, if you insist. Me. Doot! Doot. Burp, burp. Hang on, where's the doot noise? I have a doot noise. Nope, the skeleton dude is not available while I'm in... Alright, Doot. 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 It's so fucking bright. Oh, it was literally on the ground right there. Man, I was blind to the white tiles as the flashing white light went off it. Oh. That's another key. Excellent. Man, they are hiding these very well. Jesus Christ, there's so many along these roofs. Ah, there's another one. My god, I am going to get so many locker keys. They have really expanded upon the number of lockers they have, I think. Also, where is an exit? Oh, this is a lovely place. Alright, well, there's gonna be a lot of noises. I'm betting that's annoying a lot of people when they just hear the ching, ching. Ah! Leave me alone! Going up. Just hearing this chun. It's just like, God damn it! Oh, Also, the hand tracking doesn't do too well, or I'm holding onto a controller, which is a shame. So, Aranaki really did it, huh? I couldn't believe it either. Arya-san's too smart to get trigger-happy with someone like that, especially a 2-bit goon like Ihara. And nobody's seen him since. Nope. I don't know if the cops are onto him yet, but he killed that creep right there in the middle of town. It's only a matter of time before they figure it out. How you holding up? You said you found Kanamura, right? Yeah, right after I lost those Uno Saiwa guys.
結局新井の兄貴に連絡が取れなかった俺は一旦事務所に戻ることにしたんです。おい。
Oh my god, it's just like Yakuza 1 when the office lights were out.
Oyashi. 失礼します。
Oh no! He's not sleeping. He's dead. Also, who sleeps with their shirt off? Like, out in the open like that? Like, nah, you need a blanket at least. Okay, I get it, he's dead, but like, why is his shirt off? What's he doing with his shirt off? I never got through to Aranaki. Wound up reporting to the boss's death myself. Must have been rough on you. Apparently he got stabbed in the back. No real sign of a struggle. That's not all, though. The cops think the killer might be a woman because of how they found him. A woman? Yeah. His shirt was off and there were traces of lipstick on his neck and lips. So this girl came in, promising action, and then gave Kanamura more action than he bargained for. That's what it looks like. Still, something doesn't just add up. It's just... well... what's up? Oh my god, I can see a flashing thing behind the character! And it's out of frame. When I go back to the office, it was completely empty. That just doesn't happen, ever. True. Usually you have 1 or 2 boys keeping an eye on things out front, especially when the boss is in. Not only that, but... I don't know. The boss never seemed like the kind of guy to fall for that kind of trick, no matter the girl. No? He didn't really ever talk about women or anything, and he wasn't exactly a spring chicken if you get me. I hear you. But you never know. Huh? If the police are right, she must be one hell of a woman. You ever heard of a femme fatale, Kido-kan? A femme fatale? What's that? A special kind of woman. She might not be the most gorgeous girl in town, but you can't deny that there's something special about her. And just when it seems like you've got her, she suddenly decides to keep you at arm's length. But that only makes you want her more. And before you know it, she's the only thing you can think about. They say a girl like that'll eventually lead you to total ruin. Maybe you'll find one of your own someday, Kido-chan. A woman so alluring, you can't possibly pull yourself away. Someday, chat. Someday, I too will find a woman just so alluring, so intoxicating, I can't possibly keep myself away from them. Can't say I complain if I did. Enough about that, though. First things first. We've got work to do. Work? Izzy! But what would your boyfriend wait, do you have a boyfriend? I swear you have a boyfriend. I don't want to get the relationship and the pronouns incorrect here, because you were doing like a drawing of like a boyfriend, I think it was. I want to be able to like got a couple apart. Okay, hang on. Let me just. So Izzy says, "Yeah, me." Izzy, but what would your boyfriend say? Nailed it. There we go. That's how you do a reaction.
柴田組の手先だろうよ。
Shibata goons.
きっとお前か俺の身柄が必要なんだ。なあ、そうだよな。
どういうことですか、秋山さん。
なあ、兄さんよ。俺らの首持ってったって。
I'm just imagining like Izzy just has like numerous partners, and it's more of a case of like there is like they all have equal like priority and strength to you, but there's very clearly strengths of ones above others. So it's like this here is Gustav. He is such a lovely cook, and he really loves food. And then over here we have Isabel. I'm Izzy, she's Belle, and we just love going for our adventure hikes and what have you. And then this here is Derek. Derek brings the bread home, so to speak. Sorry, he was too busy in Warframe. And this here is Ember. I don't know their real name, but the two of us, we go through Warframe together, doing duos, and maybe, just maybe, we have Derek join us as trios. You have a boyfriend and a girlfriend who are also partners with it. Damn! Damn! I'm struggling to understand the Riz to get one partner. And you have gone and you're like, yeah, like, don't you just have two partners? And we have like an equal understanding upon each of our affections that we're able to have a perfect balance between the three of us. And it's just oh so great. I'm like a branch off of a much larger polycule I'm vaguely aware. There's just this corkboard in the background. It's like a corkboard like this, but there's like strings being attached where it's like Izzy the Fat Cat has like their persona, and then there's like the QB persona, and you're like, okay, now there's a theory. You get the marker out. And and you do like a dotted line to an entirely different like set of furry couples, and you're like, and then so this is the theory. It's potentially here. However, I haven't been able to properly spot check, and then you have a dotted line from yourself to someone else, and you're just sort of like, now this person has been, I don't know if they're being nice or if they really, really flirting with me. And then you have like and then you get a piece of string and you do it over your guy, but it's in a different color, and you do it to like this other like persona, and you're like, now this he's a very silly little guy. Like I just can't wait for like the conspiracy theory board of Izzy trying to understand like the greater the polycule, and it's like that forest. What's that forest called in North America where like the roots don't go very deep, but they spread far and wide. So like what looks to be like a forest is actually just like one tree organism, and it's just gone all the way across. It almost looks like birch. He caught me being a silly little gay. Caught me by being a silly little guy. By silly little guy. You see this. Anyway. I am way too immature for relationships, I think. I have my idea of relationships are probably too juvenile for the people in their 30s and late 20s to be like, you know what seems like a pick? This autistic furry. This straight white man. I don't have golden retriever energies yet. Are we gonna use the roots to get back to Sky Finance? Being told it's actually much healthier to not perceive the greater polycule unless you personally know the individual members and or want to actually be in a relationship with them. Ooh, interesting. Okay. So less of a forest and more like a class clique.
こっちは花から首取られる覚悟でやってんだ。あんたらも肩に舐めたと痛い目にやる。
Hopefully will. Apparently it will be you. If the message is still there. Damn it, the message isn't there anymore, but maybe.
I
love how he's like readying his fist, but he's not gonna fight them with his fists. He's just gonna be kicking them left, right, and center. Here we go. The Shibata family is about to get their ass kicked. Give me that sword, boy! Get off me. Ow! Get out of the little, like, stun lock. Items. There we go. Hopefully that gives me their sword. Yes, it does! Yes, it does. The mass-produced blade. Don't mean me, sir. I mean as a Oh my gosh. Izzy, the femme fatale. She's gonna get me for all of my persona and, like, comical ideas. It's gonna be like a succubus scenario or something like that, where she's just gonna be like, oh, you're so interesting, you have such great ideas, and then she'll want me to explain like the entire plot to like my supernatural like timeline and what have you, and then she's gonna take all those ideas, and I'm gonna be like, you know, so lacking of such energies and what have you, and she's gonna take all those ideas and put it into a comic series, and she's gonna become like in 20 to 50 years the new Stan Lee. Have I told you about like the time I tried writing a short story? And it well, had enough? Damn it, we heard you were good, but we didn't know you were going to be this good. Huh? Guess I have a reputation at least. What else are they saying about me? Bold of you to assume that I would be so low as to steal other people's ideas outright. You're not stealing it outright. You're coaxing it out of me. You're becoming you will become my muse or what have you. But because of you being my muse, I will lose out on the energies, and you'll just like go. You'll just suck in all the creative energies, and I wouldn't know what to do with it, and you're just sort of like, oh, I really want to draw your character, and then you'll draw my character, and then the next thing you know, you'll draw a comic strip, and the next thing you know, you'll draw a comic series. It's going to be one of those. Nah, you're much simpler than that. I'm just going to take your cum. You're going to give it to me of your own volition? That's the best part? No! You cannot demand. This isn't a Subway. You can't just demand whatever ingredients you want. You can't just take my cum. Also, hi there, Rabid Cow Wolf. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a wonderful time. Wait, is this the rabbit that I'm thinking of? Yes, it is the rabbit that I'm thinking of. Hi, hi. Welcome, welcome. I absolutely love your art. You are like one of my like earlier whatsamahoozies of the hyper fandom. I really appreciate the work you do. Oh my god. Oh my god! It's Cow Wolf! Wait, Rabid Co Wolf. Or is it Rabid Cow Wolf? Is it Co Wolf or Cow Wolf? I don't know if it's like Cow Wolf, I think. Okay, well, yeah. Hi. Co-Wolf. Okay, Co-Wolf. Rabid Co-Wolf. Thank you so much. But yeah, thank you so much for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you're having a wonderful time here. You probably caught in at a very awkward time about how Izzy is just gonna steal my cum. Don't worry about that. I would have thought it was Cowboy because of your hybrid Sona. I'm gonna be real. I thought so as well, because of, like, you know, the bigness, and, you know, I feel like it was a trend for some Fursona species to be, like, I don't know how long you've been in the fandom and such. You probably have been in it much longer than I have, at the very least, because you're responsible for, like, a lot of the hyper art that I'm just sort of like, ooh, yes, I love that. But do you remember the times, like, the phases of Fursona designs in, like, the general zeitgeist? How, like, we started from, because I feel like we started from, you know, you do your basic Fursona, and then, so, like, you'd go with, like, you know, your typical wolf, cat, dog, fox, and maybe a horse, and then you go to, yes, this is my toxic sludge rainbow alligator here, where the maw oozes toxic rainbow. And then you have, like, your zebra with, like, the rainbow coloring, or the fox with the galaxy style thingamadiggy. Hi there, Jin, welcome to the stream. So then you go from that, you go from the over complex design to the you go to, like, the crossings. So you go to the, yes, this is a cat dog, this is a cow wolf, this here is a giraffe shark. Like, you go with all of these, like, crazy mixings, and before long some people are like, yes, this is my giraffe shark cow Tor character. And then we, you know, we moved away from that, and now we're up to, or Lion Cerberus, as Jin has shared. And now I feel like we're not doing too many crossings, but now we're picking up that there is way more animals to choose from in the animal kingdom. We're no longer going for the classic horse, or dog, or fox, or cow. We're finding something special. We're going for the snow leopard. We're going for the capybara. We're going for the gazelle. We're going for the serval. We're finding animals. And then some people are going a fish. We're getting some exotic now. True. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'm glad you. But you see where I'm going here, like the phases of Fursona designs throughout the fandom. How we started with, like, we have our classic. Oh damn it! There's an advertisement. Sevesta Cristal. Unfortunately, there's an advertisement, so you don't hear anything I am saying unless you have a Twitch Turbo subscription, which gives you ad-free viewing across all channels, or you're subscribed to me. But the likelihood of, you know, Rabbit being subscribed to me right now is low likelihood. Ah, there we go. And there's Jin complaining about the ads. Look at that. Lisa complaining about the ads. Sounds a little too smart for someone with his himbo shirt. Oh, don't worry. Can't see Zeebs laughing at my joke now. I missed the joke. Wait, hang on. What was it? Oh, it's not there. Oh, it's in the chat. Can we merge a cow and fox and name it Cox? Love the pet jingle physics. Oh, these? These? You like these? Hang on. Here we go. There we go. Wait. I need to fix the tracking. Did you see it? I need to fix the tracking. It used to be, but check this out. So yeah, I have, like, I've done so many things with my zebra and such like that, and I've done so many things with this stream. So for actually, hang on a second. Let me get the thingy-majiggy, because you may not have seen this before, but check this out. Ding dong bong. I have different shirts. I have different shirts. You can't hear me saying this right now, but normally this is like the typical himbo shirt that you see before me. But I also have Booster Pang's shirt, which Booster Pang is selling on their item shop. I don't have the link on me right now, but this is something Booster Pang has has worn, and I asked for permission for this, and they said they're okay with that. Highly recommend you check out Booster Pang, wonderful artist. They awoke in me the love of the titty boy. Okay, I'm a titty man. I don't know if you. I don't know if you realize this, but I'm a bit of a fan of the titty, and Titty Boy was somehow like a ooh, neurons firing. So yeah, I also have Fat Wolf. Fatwood has Be More Massiver, and I have, this is a friend of mine's shirt. I absolutely love it. All titty is good titty. Yeah. All titty is good titty. It's a thing. Okay, we're back. Hi, welcome back, Het. Glad for you to be here. But yeah, I have so many different shirt designs. So we have our classic, we have Booster Pangs, we got Fat Wolves, we got All Titty is Good Titty. We got the time I was able to find a website that just generates the Pornhub logo, but for the shirt you want. So in this case, it says GrantZeebs. And then, I found one where it's like D20s. Yes, they are natural. But, you can't see it because the shape of my titties are like just so you have to do this. Like, look at this. Like, yes, they're natural. Might need to change the shirt and what have you. So yeah, and then other shirts are Stack Up, which I did for charity thingamadiggy. We got Star Wars. This one was this is my latest collection. I quite like it. We got The Legend of Zelda. We got The God of War. We got Spider-Man. We got Kingdom Hearts when I was going through Kingdom Hearts. We got the Cactor. We got Dark Souls when I was going through Dark Souls 1. We got the classic Halloween shirt because I was a dumb idiot and didn't have a proper costume in hand. And then we have the classic UNSC shirt. I am a nerd. I am such a fucking nerd. So yeah, so we got all those kinds of shirts. I want to have a Yakuza outfit, but, it's a bit hard. Thank you for the head pats. I really appreciate it. And I have props. Look at this. I have the Master Chief helmet. Look at this. It's a Santa hat. Although I want to improve the Santa hat and make it so it has like jiggle physics and what have you, rather than it just being like a standard like beanball thing. I got Sora's hair. I got a cowboy. I don't like how the cowboy hat is so reflective. I need to fix that. I need to make my own cowboy hat. I got a conductor's hat. This one is meant to be reflective. This was meant to be for hype trains and what have you, but that's obviously not happened for a while. Then I've got my sci-fi pilot helmet. Like, look at this. Ooh, I'm so sci-fi-y. And then sunglasses. Just a classic Oh, and then a birthday hat. Because birthday. But yeah, just sunglasses. So yeah, I really like doing things with this model. I also have the Hyper Himbo. Zeebs is showing off his fancy clothes. Oh yeah, this is the fanciest you're gonna get me, is different kinds of shirts for a pair of jeans, and lo and behold, I am incapable of tucking my shirt in. So at one point, I am going to need to go to Wolk AD, aka Wolkont, aka Wolk. I'm gonna need to have like thousands of dollars, and I'm gonna be like, hey, I want to hire you. There's a lot of work to do. You're going to make me sexy. You're going to make me handsome. And I'm going to have a shirt that tucks in. There we go. Don't mind seeing the ads. Nice. Oh yeah, thank you so much. Ah! What are you doing? Why are you stealing my shirt? Ah! Why are you stealing me shirt? How dare you? We could do this. No shirt, no problem. I need to continue on with the game. We got boys heading to your office as we speak. No kidding. He just like squats. He's like, no kidding. Tell me something. They as tough as you? Sure are. Top of the Shibata family heap. Perfect. Then I've got nothing to worry about. What do you mean? You'll see. Ooh, this works. I need to fix the tracking a little bit because I need to be able to do. Like... Hello, policeman. No problem with ticking, and your abs are great to look at. Oh yeah, the abs are pretty strong. I can go even more himbo as well. for 69 bits, or you do the channel point redeem, I get Hyper Himbo. For how many bits is it? Hang on a second. I also have like a bigger boobs redeem. Thank you for the Hyper Himbo hit. I greatly appreciate it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the strength of my pecs. Aren't they amazing? Amazeballs. Also, where is the tracking? There we go. Tracking layers. Eye facial mocap. Here it is, the leap motion. There we go. Look at that. Boing. Boing. Ding, 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 ding. Zeebs rapidly turning Rabbit into a brand new fan. All it took was just gratuitous amounts of titty and himboism is what it took. And just having a, you know, a sensibility of understanding the trends of the furry fandom. I dabble in the nonsense and what have you. I understand how the things work. You're going to be too hot for Twitch. No, because you see here, I have removed the nipple. It's only male the female presenting nipples are the ones that are problematic. The male presenting ones, like, I'm gonna be real with you. Twitch is sexist. Twitch does not have a problem with dudes being topless. They do have a problem if they take their pants off, but you will never be able to steal my pants. That is a very important thing. There is never going to be a redeem where you can steal my pants on Twitch. It will never happen. Any whoosies. Ding. Okay, cool. I fixed the leap motion thing. Amazing. I'm going to need to, like, do more, like, ooh, look at that. Sorry, it's been a while since I've been able to, like, just do the thing. But yeah, where's the redeem? Where is the redeem for the, where is it? Ding dong. Here it is. So, for 8,008 bits, 6,000 bits, 717 bits, or 7,175 bits, these can be bigger. They can. Bigger. Also, I need to double check. Yeah, no, that's fine. And then execute code. Oh, if I do it as multiple, like, redeem thingamadiggies, I'm gonna need to... Is stealing a pants being a problem? That means you don't wear underwear under it. Confess. No, it's just, I don't want to do the pants redeem. It'd be very ridiculous if I did. Actually, I should just change... I'll change this back to toggle. So, I will be real with you. The breast expansion, like, redeem may not be perfect. Ding. Donk. Donk. But, you know, not too many people do bit redeems in my channels. And also, I don't get, like, a lot of experimentation time with it, but, you know, something.
これに俺、これに関しては被害者だし。うるせえ、すべこ言ってんじゃねえ。確保だ。はい。
Oh no. It's the Kamaro Ocho Rosas. Oh, is this a... Oh, this is an escape sequence. Oh no. Oh no. When you find yourself fleeing a chase battle, try to accomplish your goal before your chase gauge is fully depleted. Your current objective is to reach Sky Finance. Using the up, down, left, right to run during chase sequences. Make it all the way without getting caught by the police. Oh, it has me, like, actually... Oh! Okay, cool. Yes, the shirt comes back on after 5 minutes. I can only maintain this form for so long. Want to share the nipples story again? Oh, oh. Whoopsie.
間に合わなかったか。
Oh, he's alive. Good for you.
命拾いしたね。
社長
Hana-chan!
ただいま。
Same, bro.
はい、お水。
Yep.
Thank you. どっちにしてもこれじゃまた警察行きだな。
Ooh. Hello? For the last 3 months, you've been working at the National Dutch Open Air Museum as part of a way to find work. A museum that shows how life was years ago, which exists over 100 years. And yesterday, you got a full Nice! Congratulations! You're working at the Open Air Museum in Deutschland. Wait, is that how you say it? Deutschland? No. No. Dutch is Denmark, right? I think... Denmark, right? Oh, Denmark? But yeah. Dutch is the Netherlands. Ah, okay. Congratulations! Congratulations! You have a job in the Netherlands! You have the job in the National Dutch Open Air Museum! Congratulations! Does this mean you go back in time to, like, figure out how people lived hundreds of years ago? Or do you, so like you're in the museum, do you do like reenactments? Or are you doing like what's the museum thingy-majig you do? You work at the restaurants. Ah, okay. Do you do like historical reenactments at the restaurants? I have no idea what goes off in this museum for how, people were living hundreds of years ago. But congratulations on the full contract. Good for you. I hope you have a wonderful time at the Dutch Open Air Museum. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Open air? Excellent. Chapter 2 is out of the way, leaving us in Chapter 3, Trouble in the Tojo Clan. Dutch is the Netherlands. Hey. How'd your little session go with Sugeuchi go? Don't get me started. That guy really puts the dick in detective. What an asshole. No joke. But hey, if I were over 40 and still stuck as a beat cop, I'd probably have a chip on my shoulder too. You think that's all it is? Here is a link on how it works. Ah, yes! Thank you! Thank you so much. You think it's not? I don't know. Kind of feels like he's, like, obsessed with you. And Aki or something. How do you figure? He kept grilling me about how you two met. Oh, and he wouldn't shut up about wanting to know what Kanamura's loan terms were. Doesn't that seem kind of weird to you? I guess. Not that I blame him for wondering. Why are you throwing your weight behind Arai Anaki? That's my little secret. Come on. Akiyama-san. You can tell me. Hello? Oh. Beautiful. A face a mother could love. No pressing business right now. Maybe I'll take a little stroll around the city before heading back to the office. What a great idea. You know what is also a great idea? No! Stop it! What are you so worried about, honey? It's not like we're gonna take anything from you. It's all about what we're gonna give you. Don't worry. We'll be sure to thank you real good once we're done. So what do you say, baby? Someone help! Ugh, I don't have gas in the tank for this, but I can't just sit back and watch. Hey, I'd suggest leaving her alone if I were you. Who's talking? We don't take advice from no-name shit off the street. That's another one to put down in the insult column. No-name shit off the street. You should start. You're never gonna get a girl if you treat them like property instead of people. I'll treat a broad however I want. Besides, who the hell do you think you are? I bet you ain't no saint yourself. Guess we're gonna have to educate you. And I'm not talking with a blackboard and chalk. Ooh, boy. Hyper pump. Bam! Boom! Kick him in the dick! Bam! Alright, hang on. I love this guy's fighting style. Nope! Like, I went through, like, the Yakuza games, like, you know, 0 to 3. I will be real with you, 3 feels a little bit weak story-wise, but every new game I've gone through, I've preferred the combat more and more. I like this guy's style because of the kicks. He reminds me of Sanji. Damn it. You're unreal, man. And hey, turns out you were right. I'm not a saint. Not after painting your faces with my shoe, at least. Run along now, kids. This ain't the last you heard of us. Well, now that's taken care of. Are you okay, miss? Oh, she's gone. Oh, guess she ran off. Can't say I'm surprised, though. You there. Got a minute? Depends. What do you need? Well, I was observing your scuffle there, and I could see your physical potential is through the roof! Did you used to play any sports? Not really. Pretty sure the last time I kicked a ball around was in middle school. So then it's just a natural talent, understood. My name is Saigo. I run an operation in this general area. What kind of operation? I'm glad you asked. Do you know about the looming crisis Japan faces? Immigration? Is he talking about the immigration? Crisis? What crisis? Put frankly, peace addiction. Nowadays, all people in Japan can think about is peace. Uh-huh. In my youth, I fought as a mercenary, mostly in the Middle East. I've seen many breathe their last, friend and foe alike. It was then I realized an astounding truth. In this world, anything could happen. Anytime, anywhere. Oh, I get it now. You're a soldier. That explains the stocky build, the fatigues, and the bald head. Someone as strong as yourself must realize how everyone in the city is putting themselves at risk. Every moment of the day, they're too vulnerable. Same goes for you. You're not as clever as you think. Huh. What are you talking about? Huh? Hey! Those are keys to my office. Give them back. You may be a good fighter, but your senses are as dull as a doorknob. Did you set that up? Cut me some slack here, man. We just met. A strong individual like you should have no problem chasing him down, but you better get going. Who knows what'll happen if you let him get away? He's gonna be Islamophobic in a country with very few Muslims. Yep. I was partially right. He could be talking about immigration problems. Japan, for whatever reason, is having an aging population and is wondering how to get a huge number of, like, working force people in their nation. And maybe this is just because when Shinzo Abe was in control and what have you, but the idea of, like, hey, have you thought about, you know, immigration? I reckon there's a lot of people interested in visiting Japan for a work visa. Shinzo Abe is just like, nah. What we need is we need more families. There's not enough Japanese boys making Japanese families. We need to improve the Japanese family. It's Abe, not Abraham Abe. Wait, Abe. I'm pretty sure it was Shinzo Abe. Alright, hang on. I need to chase out this guy. Oh, damn you, damn you, damn you. Beer bottles that can be thrown at the enemy, press that you pick up. Ah, okay, cool. Oh, Jesus, are you kidding me? Alright, here we go, and... Bang, there we go. I get the names right, okay? But yeah, Sanji, yes. Sanji is in my top 4, I would say. My personal faves are Usopp, Captain Kidd, Zoro, and I don't know. I like Trafalgar Law, Luffy, and Kid. I thought it was funny when they're fighting like Kaido and like. Granted, this might be spoiler alerts because it's only relatively recent in the anime, but it's like, you know, basically like a year ago in the manga. But like when they're fighting Kaido and Big Mom, and there's like the giant, like, you know, energy attack or what have you, and the three of them are like, you know, trying to get into this fight, and Luffy is just like, I just remember I need to make rice and eat dinner. Oops. Enjoy your rice. Remember to wash your rice. You need to wash it. You need to wash the rice. Any whoosies. Like they got like this fireball thing coming at them, and Luffy is just like, whoever is first to move is a weakling. And even Trafalgar Law and such is just like, you know, oh, that's so fucking dumb. Why would we do that? That just leaves us vulnerable. And he's like, all right, then move, you chicken. And he's like, no. And then you have the three of them just standing there, and like, it's so great in the manga, and I love how they did it in the anime as well, where they just had this moment of like, you know, they're just standing there, and there's just like there's like a photo finish thing where it's just like, click, it gets closer, click, and they're just like leaning back, and then it's just like click, and their faces is squished, and you have Kid looking at Luffy, Luffy looking at Kid, and you have Trafalgar Law, who's in the middle of them, looking also at Kid. I just thought, and they all basically got hit. It was so fucking dumb. Phew. That's good enough for you? Looks like you've got a strong set of legs. I was right about you. I'm sorry, but your praise is less than flattering. Can I go now? Wait, I have to talk to you about something. Let's head to the roof. The roof? Could you just act normal for 1 second? So, what did you want to talk about?
Hey, don't look so sour. Anyway, what should I call you?
The name's Akiyama.
Akiyama-kun. Seems like you got into fights nearly every day.
Well, I wouldn't if I had a choice, but that's just the way things have been working out.
It's clear you have a strong talent for fighting. It'd be a tragedy to see it go to waste. Are you interested in tapping into your dormant abilities? I can help you.
What do you mean, dormant? Pretty sure I hand out max beatings every day of the week.
Then let me ask you, do you feel any change in your body right now?
Change?
A few moments ago, you ran after my pupil, but you weren't simply running for running's sake. My pupil forced you to run in a style which would use your muscles in the most efficient manner. So, how do you feel? Is your body somewhat lighter than before?
I guess now that you say so, I do feel lighter. I have learned the dash kick.
Every person has to train differently, depending on their build and usual exercise regime. Train correctly, and I guarantee your strength will be multiplied.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to see that. Excuse me.
I'm pretty much always here, so come back whenever you want to train further.
That's a real nice offer and all. But, can I ask you something first?
What?
Why me? You don't even know me.
I guess it's natural to be curious. It's hard to explain, but there's a reason why I chose you and only you. I'll tell you more if you agree to come back.
At least you sound like you know what you're talking about. Alright then. I'll stop by whenever I have the time.
Great. I'll be waiting.
Excuse me. Right, there it is. Excuse me. Nose. Oh my goodness. Izzy mentions Afghanistan and Islamophobic, and the entire chat goes quiet. They're just like, oh no. Is Grant one of those? Is Grant one of those people that doesn't know how to handle his streams? I don't have an idea of how to handle my streams, I will be real with you. Save point. Alrighty then. Hi there, Afronasia Bun. Welcome to the stream. Thank Christ there's someone else in this chat. I was worried for a minute there. How's it going? You doing alright? Alright, I am so sorry, Afronasia. It's past 9 o'clock. It's 9:30 for me right now. And... all good? Yeah, understandable. Thank you. Unfortunately, you are catching me at a time where... I'm packing up to finish up with tonight's stream. I am so sorry. Oh my goodness, like, Izzy's, like, little thingy-majiggy of, like, oh, Jesus, an Afghanistan vet, look out, he's gonna be Islamophobic in a country with very few Muslims, is still sitting there. I'm gonna be real. That might have grinded the chat to the halt. There was just, like, you know, lovely, like, conversation from Het about the good news from the Dutch Open Air Museum, and then Abbott Co-Wolf was just like, oh my god. I absolutely enjoy their work. You should definitely check them out. And then, yeah, Izzy unhinged, and then, then had to go and make rice for dinner. So, yeah. But yeah, that is it for stream tonight. I am sorry to say, that is the end of it. I will be picking up on Yakuza 4 next week. That's going to be next Wednesday's game. I will be back online Saturday morning. So, Thursday, Friday. So yeah, basically 3 days for me. So, Saturday morning, we're going to be going through more Final Fantasy XIV. I have not yet finished Dawn Trail. I've only just gotten to, like, level 22, 23, so I still have a ways to go. But before you all disappear, I would like to find a raid target, and I would love for you to join with me on this one. Let's have a look. Who is online? Who is streaming? Who does the raid browser recommend I raid into? One moment, please. Let us have a look. Chain Together, Ray Solar, Elias Strange. Let's go. Ooh. Who dat? Who dat? There's someone doing art named Polar Cartoons. Oh no, they've been streaming for 13 hours. They might be done. All right. Let's try and find someone with who is only just been streaming. Let's see. Who is an... Oh, cookie for Fizz. Hey, Fizz, here's your cookie. I'm so sorry. You're catching us at the end of the stream. We're actually looking for a raid target. I'm looking for someone that's just started up their stream. Let's see. Ooh, Sky Blue Arts. Sorry, I like looking for artists. Because artists are gonna be like, you know, they're gonna have a little lower energy, which I think is great. I think it's wonderful. Let's have a listen. How are they doing? Okay, they seem to be... It seems to be calm. They've only been streaming for the last half hour. I reckon that's a good one to raid into. Alright, we're gonna go raid into Sky Blue Arts. Let's go with a raid. Let's go with our classic raid message. We're gonna go with our classic raid message of Himbo Raid. Show us your cutest guys, gals, and non-binary pals, or prepare to get swole. If you have the emotes, you're welcome to use those. If you don't have the zebra gun emotes, you're welcome to use whatever other kinds of emotes you want that you feel like would be appropriate for the raid message. It could be something himboism, it could be threatening, it could just be, you know, some cute guys, gals, or non-binary pals if you want. But otherwise, you can also do so without the emotes if you want. I am going to be hopping offline after this. I will be back online for streaming Saturday morning my time, which might be Friday evening for a number of you peeps. So yeah, Passenger, thank you so much for raiding earlier tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Vovander, thank you for the follow. And Rabbit Cowolf, thank you for the follow as well. I greatly appreciate it. I'm sorry you're catching me only, like, you know, for like the last half hour, but I very much thank you for the follow, and I hope everyone here, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you all have a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.